Christine Lisi. The Western Conference Finals grab center stage tonight in the NBA when the Timberwolves host the Mavericks in Game 1, 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio. That smothering defense, just one advantage for Minnesota this series, notes ESPN NBA analyst Austin Rivers.
They have size at the rim, they got rim protection, they got good on-the-ball perimeter defense, and they have the #1 overall defense in the NBA. Dallas is a non-defending team. They're playing better defense right now. Obviously, it's the playoffs, you hope. But if we're talking about a 7-game series of which team I have more confidence in, I have to go to the team that plays on both sides of the ball.
Austin Rivers on First Take. Knicks point guard Jalen Brunson had surgery to repair his broken left hand. He'll be evaluated again in 6 to 8 weeks. NHL East Final tonight, Rangers-Panthers, 8 Eastern, ESPN. President's Trophy winning Rangers lowest odds among the 4 remaining teams to win the Stanley Cup for ESPN Bet. WNBA, Indiana rookie Caitlin Clark intends to play tonight against Seattle despite a stiff and sore left ankle. 0-4 Fever seeking its first win on the season. The NFL has selected Pittsburgh to host the 2026 NFL Draft.
Feeling great starts with a great shave, and great shaves start with Barbasol Shaving Cream. That's Barbasol Shaving Cream, an American classic for over 100 years. Close Shave America, Close Shave Barbasol.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill. Nope, Taylor Sharp.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Taylor Sharp. All that muscle memory. Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We got a ton to do today. Tigers are marching on. We got Saints OTAs. Basketball's hired a new assistant coach. And oh, by the way, it's a hump day. See, I got thrown off.
It's hump day.
Said Paul.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He's not here.
He's not here.
Hump day!
Threw me off my muscle memory.
It's hump day.
Normally I do the rundown during the hump day.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
But I just did it there.
Hump day!
I thought you forgot hump day. I'm not going to lie.
No, didn't forget it.
It's hump day.
Just out of order.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Out of sorts.
Hump day!
Hey, Taylor. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good.
It's hump day.
You know, Taylor, sometimes when I listen to OTB...
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It feels like T-Bob's really mean to you.
Hump day!
It reminds me of another show on 104.5.
It's hump day.
I don't get it.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
People accuse me of being mean to Muso.
Hump day!
Does nobody accuse T-Bob of being mean to you?
T-Bob's worse to me than you are to Muso.
It's hump day.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Ah!
Oh, Muso, you're complicit in the bit. You shut your face right now.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And Taylor's not?
Do you get the irony?
Hump day!
Yeah.
In telling Muso I'm not mean to him, I was mean to him?
Yeah, you yelled at him.
It's hump
That
day.
is actual iron.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right, let's go. We got a lot to do today. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, LSU came into Hoover feeling like you had to get a win to move yourself off of the bubble. They have now put an absolute stranglehold on an NCAA regional berth. I believe they were firmly in after their win over Georgia yesterday, We saw Florida lose. They were eliminated. Alabama lost. They were eliminated. LSU's RPI, KPI all increased. Well, after thoroughly dismantling the SEC co-champion, Kentucky, a team that won 22 SEC regular season games, LSU at this very moment, real-time RPI up to 21. Their KPI, which actually this committee is apparently putting more stock into KPI instead of RPI. Going into the game today, LSU's KPI was up to 17. No doubt is going to climb after you just hung a run rule win on Kentucky, who won the SEC regular season champion. You now have 15 wins over SEC teams. So LSU right now is a regional team, period. It's not even a debate anymore. The only question now is how high can LSU climb in these metrics and in the eyes of the committee. Let me say very frankly, because some have asked, if LSU wins the SEC tournament, could they host a regional? No. Unequivocally, no. You were 13-17 in the regular season. You don't get to play well for a week in Hoover and go from the bubble to hosting a regional as a top 16. You're not hosting, okay? Just don't let that thought enter your mind. That is not a possibility this week at all. It is certainly a possibility that you could climb from a 3 to a 2. Now, that may not matter for anything more than just what color jersey you wear in the 2-3 matchup, what dugout you sit in, and who bats first. Yes, if you're the higher seed, you get to bat second, which means you get the last AB, so there is an advantage there. But at the same time, it's more just about, at this point, where is the committee going to send you? That is the big question facing LSU right now. It's not even the rest of this tournament. Like, if LSU goes and wins tomorrow, great. For our purposes, awesome. It's just more content, right, for the rest of the week. But if LSU loses tomorrow and Friday, I don't care. You have done what you set out to do when you went to Hoover, which was to guarantee yourself a regional bar, to guarantee you are playing baseball next week, and LSU has done that. There is a lot to talk about with the game from Hoover on Wednesday with LSU beating Kentucky 11-0. I would be remiss if I started anywhere other than Luke Holman. Jay Johnson, by the way, remember, he told us yesterday that the plan they had worked for the last 3 weeks, the plan was that they were going to have Gage jump, go on 4 days rest, and throw the opener on Tuesday. Told us that yesterday. So we felt like that was going to be a pretty big game. It was going to be a real opportunity, so they said it. Yesterday, I asked Jay Johnson on this very show if he had gone through the same 3-week process preparing Luke Holman, and he deftly maneuvered and evaded my question because he didn't want to announce a starter, and I understand that. Well, Luke Holman went 6 innings of no-hit baseball, no runs, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks. He walked the leadoff batter of the game. Got out of that, and the only other guy that reached in the next 6 innings against Holman was a walk. Absolutely stellar performance. I shouldn't say that. There was also an error on Braswell, which allowed another runner on. But stellar performance by Luke Holman, and Jay Johnson disclosed the plan. Yeah, this had been their plan for the last month or so.
Yeah, we set the table on this same time. It's like, this is what we're going to do. And part of it was an encouragement to the team. Like, everything is still in front of us. And it was like, okay, now look at him and look at him. I'll take our chances against anybody with those 2 guys on the mound.
And that is the reason why LSU also has a very real opportunity to advance deep into the postseason, because of what Jay just said. Look at those 2 guys on the mound. We're going to talk about the offense here in just a second as well. But I think there's this fair question to say, well, how good is LSU? Like, they're clearly playing their best ball of the year. I mentioned the Braswell error today. That's the only blemish that we've seen in almost 3 weeks. They've been really they were excellent defensively against Georgia. I think that was the best defensive game they played all year. But we'll see, depending on who LSU plays and who they're going to face on Thursday in the South Carolina-Arkansas game. And by the way, as we sit here right now at 3:09 Central Time on Wednesday, it's tied at 4. Arkansas was down. They just came back and tied it against South Carolina. They got runners at the corner here in the bottom of the 7th. So we'll see. Like, if LSU faces Hagen Smith tomorrow, you're probably going to be humbled. Your bats are going to cool off a bit. That's the best pitcher in college baseball. So I don't know. That's why I say so much of this is going to be about matchups. And to be very clear, you faced Georgia, which pitched off and went with sort of a bullpen, your whole staff approach, and you faced Kentucky, which did the same thing. You didn't face either of those teams' frontline guys. It doesn't diminish what you did. You still went, you mashed the baseball, you were very active, you scored runs, you had key at-bats, clutch hits. I mean, 2 grand slams against Kentucky. But you're going to have tougher tests on the mound ahead when you get into regional and hopefully super regional play beyond. So I don't know. I don't know how good LSU is at their best against the best in the country when they're at their best, but we're going to get a chance to find that answer next week and hopefully beyond. What I will absolutely unequivocally say is that this team has the bullets in the chamber to win a regional and a super regional because of what Jay Johnson just said. You have, let's say you're playing a 2-3 matchup in a regional. I don't care where it is. I don't care if it's Corvallis, Terre Haute, Clemson, Stillwater, don't care. If you have gauge jump going in a 2-3 game, you feel pretty good about that? I do. I feel pretty good about that. If you win that, you go to a marble game, you got Luke Holman going. You feel pretty good about that? Because I do. Against anybody else's two. I'm good with that. If you win those 2 games, someone has to play an elimination game, then come back and beat you twice. I like LSU's chances. You advance to a super regional, same scenario. Can Jump Holman win you 2 games? If they do, you're going to Omaha. Now, if you get to a 3rd game, that's been a bugaboo for LSU this year. That's been a nightmare. And I don't know that if it gets to a 3rd in a super regional, that you'd win it. I don't know that if you lose one of those first 2 in a regional, that you can advance out of a loser's bracket. But you cross that bridge when you get there. But this is what makes postseason baseball awesome. It's what makes it so much fun, is that, like we always say here, when people were throwing dirt on this team and burying them at the halfway point of the SEC when you were 3-12, we talked about it. The second half of the schedule lightened up. Teams are allowed to get better. You did. Gauge jump emerged. It's a long season, so let it play out because you never know what can happen. And right now, you got to feel really confident about whatever may lie in wait for LSU next week. But in the meantime, Tigers are in the winner's bracket. What an offensive day. Michael Braswell leads off the game with a homer. You got a grand slam from Jared Jones to widen the margin to 6 after you were sitting there in a cumbersome 2-0 spot. Hayden Travinsky would go back-to-back to get you to 7-0, and Tommy White would pump a grand slam as well to give you the final margin. But LSU's offense has just continued to chip away and roll, and you're getting contributions from more than just Tommy White and Jared Jones, because for the bulk of this season, it's felt like offensively this team has waited for those 2 guys to rescue them. Now it feels like everybody is contributing, which is making this team more dangerous offensively, and we'll see what might lie ahead for LSU on Thursday. Just as a quick, laying out the field here. So LSU on Thursday at 4:30 is the scheduled first pitch, and I'm not sure we're going to see that first pitch at 4:30. Maybe we'll see. 4:30 scheduled first pitch against the winner of South Carolina, Arkansas. And then if you win that game, you get the day off Friday. You come back Saturday into the single elimination weekend. If you lose tomorrow at 4:30, you come back at 3 o'clock on Friday, what is the first game of the day on Friday, an elimination game. So Tigers have at least 2 more games to go there in Hoover, and it's an exciting time. LSU blasts Kentucky 11-0. Okay. It's After Further Review show up and brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. Continue to remind you, you can enter our UFC VIP contest. UFC 302 is coming up Saturday, June 1st. Dustin the Diamond Poirier is headlining UFC 302 in New Jersey. If you're not going to be in New Jersey, the next best place to be is with us at the Sportsbook at L'Auberge, courtesy of our friends at Bud Light. We're giving 8 winners plus 2 guests the opportunity to have a VIP table, free food throughout the event, as much Bud Light as you can drink, and we'll sit there and we'll watch UFC 302 at the Sportsbook at L'Auberge. It is a free event open to the public, so if you want to come, even if you don't win the prize, you're still welcome to come join us for UFC 302 out at the Sportsbook at L'Auberge. But your chance to win, all you got to do is text the show text line. Text the word DIAMOND, as in Dustin Poirier's nickname. Text the word DIAMOND in the 225 to 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Okay, we'll knock out our first break of the show. We'll come back. Saints OTAs rolled on, and I saw an interesting piece today, sort of gauging offensive structure in the NFL, and it begs a very obvious question that I want to ask about the Saints. Is the Saints offense right now better than they were a year ago? We're going to dive into that a little bit next. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Hey, look, if you're still having that graduation party, you're celebrating the graduate in your life, they got everything you need over at Rouse's. Not down to a personalized cake for that graduate. And also remember, y'all, Memorial Day is this weekend. And I've told you our family's tradition on Memorial Day is we have the Moscona family reunion. We do a big crawfish boil at my Uncle Mike's house. If you're looking for crawfish live or boiled this weekend, you can get them at Rouse's. Remember, boiled fresh in-house every day at their in-house boiling rooms. But if you want live crawfish, they've got them at Rouse's as well. You can call ahead, reserve a sack or a few sacks, whatever you may need. Actually, as we move on in the season, as prices have come down, the crawfish are in that sweet spot where they've gotten bigger, but they're not too big to where they're really hard. It's a great time right now if you want to boil a couple of sacks of crawfish this weekend, and Rouse's can help you do it. Get on by Rouse's. This feels like home.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Is the Saints offense better today than it was last year? I'm going to dive into that question here in just a quick second. We will, at the start of hour 2, so about 40 minutes from right now, have attorney David Fleshman with us. You might remember David Fleshman prepped at Dunham here in Baton Rouge, was on the LSU 2006 Final Four team. He's now gone into a very successful law career, and part of what he does is NIL law. So we've talked to David before on the show about NIL. Well, I told you yesterday when we knocked around the Jaden Rashada convo that there was just a lot of legalese I didn't understand. So I wanted to bring on someone who can. So I want to ask Fleshman about legal precedent. Like, does Jaden Rashada have a case? If he wins, what does that mean for setting the precedent in college sports? And then also, Ross Dellinger has a fascinating piece up. And I understand not everybody is super interested in the business of sports and college sports. I am, and it's a thing where I think you have to understand, at least have a base level understanding of the business of college sports, because that's what motivates and drives all of the decisions. Why do we have rampant conference realignment? It's money. It's business decisions that are made. What about whenever we get to this revenue share where you're sharing revenue with student athletes? That sounds great. Oh, they make billions of dollars. Okay. Well, when you start taking that revenue and sharing, which as Ross wrote today, in excess of $20 million per year per school. If you're LSU, just take LSU. You take $20 million of your operating budget and just take it away and give it to players. Fine. Well, guess what? That means you're cutting $20 million of budget line items. Are those coaching salaries? Is that travel budget? Is it recruiting budget? Are you cutting certain sports altogether? Maybe. So that's a giant question that's got to be answered. So we'll talk about that with Fleshman as well, coming up in about 40 minutes from right now. Okay, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Pure Restoration, kill mold, remove odor. Y'all, we are into that time of year where it's wet and it's humid. And that is the perfect breeding ground for mold, which is why Louisiana is the world capital for mold, because it's wet and it's humid. If you need to get rid of mold, you need Pure Restoration. Pure-restoration.com, pure-restoration.com. I've told you about their patented non-toxic dry fog. It is an amazing treatment system. And Pure Restoration is the #1 dry fogging producer in the United States. There's nearly 200 licenses that have been given out to use this technology, and nobody fogs more square footage annually than Pure Restoration. As a matter of fact, they can fog your home. They literally dry fogged one of the largest buildings in the state of Louisiana. I'm not going to tell you which building it is for obvious reasons, but it doesn't matter if it's a giant commercial property all the way down to your home. You need Pure Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, Pure Restoration, pure-restoration.com. They can handle demo and build back as well. Pure-restoration.com. Saints are going through OTAs, as is the rest of the NFL right now. And it was an interesting time to bring up a question that I think is going to define the New Orleans Saints season. We've talked about the Saints schedule and how they have the easiest strength of schedule based on opponents' win percentage from a year ago, tied with Atlanta for the easiest strength of schedule. We ran through the order of not just who they play, but when and where they play them. And look, it's a tough early season schedule. Very likely going to start 1-4 unless if you manage to upset somebody. But you have a real sincere opportunity to make a run late. But I think we all agree, Dennis Allen, while there's conflicting views on how competent he is as a head coach, we all agree, great defensive coordinator. Really good defensive mind. As long as Dennis Allen is in New Orleans, you're going to have good defenses, at least capable, competent defenses. The question about the New Orleans Saints that will define this season, do they go over the 7.5 wins that Vegas is projecting? Do they get back to the playoffs? The question that will define the season, the answer to that question is, are the Saints better offensively today than they were last year? And what's so interesting to me, and this came up because CBS has an interesting piece up where they used a grading system with a lot of different offensive metrics to rate the offensive infrastructure of all 32 NFL teams. Now, I'm going to tell you what the statistics on field say first, and then we're going to look at them against the CBS metric. So, a year ago, the New Orleans Saints, a team that was 9-8, right? They had a winning record, first winning record in Dennis Allen's career as a head coach. But I think we all agree that 9-8 was not impressive. They won 4 of their last 5, and they did it against some of the worst competition in the NFL, which basically only proves that you're not the worst team in the NFL. The New Orleans Saints a year ago were 14th in the league in total offense, Not elite, but not terrible. You're in the top half of the league in total offense. Saints were 9th in scoring offense. 9th. Top 10 in scoring offense. 11th in pass and 21st against the run. So, excuse me, and 21st in rush offense. You really struggle to run the football like that much. We know, right? You had some injuries. Jamal Williams didn't have a rushing touchdown until the controversial touchdown at the end of the season against Atlanta. So when I run through those numbers, it might surprise you a little bit. 14th in total offense, 9th in scoring offense is actually more than respectable. But they were 9-8, and I know I have this feeling like the Saints will be sub 500, and I think Dennis Allen's going to get fired. That's my feeling on how this is going to go. But I look at those numbers and I say, okay, well, did the Saints get better or worse? Well, if you look at these metrics from CBS, this is what's interesting to me. They put a metric behind rating your quarterback, your play caller, your offensive line, your wide receiver, tight ends, your running back. Then give you a total grade, a weighted grade, and then your non-quarterback grade. I know that's a lot. I don't need you to memorize that or anything like that. I'm just putting into perspective how they sort of assigned all these. Well, in the 5th tier, there are 6 tiers. The Saints fall in tier 5. Steelers and Giants are tied at 27. Commanders 26. Seahawks 25. Bucks and Saints 23. So this CBS metric, and I'm going to go through it a little bit more here deeply, are saying that the New Orleans Saints are the 23rd best offense in the NFL. And they rate each of those things I just talked about from a 1 to a 5. So, for example, quarterback, they give the Saints a 3. Same number they gave the Commanders with a rookie, Jaden Daniels. Same number they gave Seattle with Geno Smith. Same number they gave Tampa with Baker Mayfield. Same number they gave the Bears with a rookie quarterback and Caleb Williams. Same number they gave the Colts with a very unsettled quarterback situation, to say the very least. Probably Anthony Richardson, who missed all of last year essentially with injury. Same number as the Browns, which is kind of a downsell on Deshaun Watson, but probably justified. So a 3 out of 5 at quarterback with Derek Carr. They gave Clint Kubiak a 3. 3 out of 5 as the play caller. Offensive line, 3.5, which is a little surprising that you'd have the offensive line rated where they are when Dennis Allen's point blank said there's only 2 positions they feel good about on the line. Wide receiver, tight end, 3.5. Running back, 3.5. The total offensive score of 16.5. A weighted grade of 3.23. And the non-quarterback grade of 3.25. So actually your non-quarterback grade higher than your quarterback grade. But ultimately, you could look at this and see the company that the Saints keep in that respect. So for me, when I look at that question, are the Saints better or worse than they were a year ago? Is Derek Carr better this year than last year? And I don't know the answer to that. And it was interesting. Carr, when he met with reporters on Tuesday, talked about being in this Kubiak system and the advantage this year as opposed to last year.
There is excitement, absolutely. The cool part about this time is we're all learning together. And there's something about going through it together. Like last year, I'm the guy learning everything new. I'm trying to play catch up while everyone's helping me. But the cool part about this is we're all starting over. And then I feel more of that leadership, that coaching role now. And so that excitement of, no, it's like this and that. But when you do something like that together, that brotherhood and that unity, it gets even tighter.
Now, we did talk about it. Year 2 for Derek Carr in New Orleans, in theory, you would think is better. But we went through this. Veteran quarterbacks who went to a new place and actually had a better year 1 than they did year 2. So the history there, I don't know that necessarily lines up or matches up with the theory of year 2 you're going to be better. But what Carr's saying is, Kubiak's the new guy, and we're all learning this together. It's essentially just one new guy, where everybody's the same, as opposed to him coming in as the trigger man where everything else was the same and he had to come in and adapt to everybody else. So there is some validity to that. So I'd look at it really and say the variable here is Clint Kubiak. Like, that is the variable. Michael Thomas, look at what's gone. Michael Thomas is gone. Andres Pete is gone. James Hurst is gone. Ryan Ramczyk might be done. Pete Carmichael is gone. You've added Kubiak and Fuanga. And then, look, there's some veteran offensive linemen and receivers. You have Cedric Wilson. Like, some of these guys that we're going to see if they even make the team, right? But it's just the question around this offense is singular. And I understand quarterback's the most important position, but I've talked about, like, there's a large enough sample size on Derek Carr to know what he is. What he is. What at his best, he's a borderline top 10 quarterback. At his worst, he's a 20s quarterback in the NFL. So can a borderline top 10 quarterback, if Carr's at his best, get you to where you want to go? Well, that's going to center around Clint Kubiak, making him his best. And Dennis Allen has had good things to say so far about Clint Kubiak.
The attention to detail and holding guys accountable to those details. I think that's something that, he's really brought to the table for our group. And I think it's been good, and I think our players and I think our coaches are embracing that.
Kubiak, of course, we know is from the Shanahan-McVay tree, and it's going to be fascinating to see how he adjusts and adapts to this personnel, something we're going to have a lot of conversation around as we move throughout this offseason, and how it looks with Kubiak here in New Orleans and how different the offense looks, and we're all adjusting to it. Like, we're all going to be adjusting to this because this is the first time since 2006 you haven't had Peyton or Carmichael running this offense. Is that going to be a plus or a minus for Derek Carr and then the domino effect throughout the rest? It's just really interesting to see the stats of a year ago are better than what the CBS metrics are projecting for this Saints offense, and I don't know how you can objectively look and say the offense is going to be worse. I think they're going to be better. How much better? Is that enough to make you a winning team? I don't know. And that's going to be the gray area, the gap that Clint Kubiak's going to have to fix or answer. See how much he can skew the Saints to the plus side of that gray matter instead of the negative side. So moving through OTAs, the first real big step of this offseason for New Orleans with Clint Kubiak calling the shots. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're with us here. We're going to knock out a quick break. Come back. We'll go around the SEC Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro in about 15 minutes. David Fleshman, top of the next hour. Tons of LSU baseball talk today as the Tigers run rule Kentucky 11-0 and are moving on to take on South Carolina or Arkansas. Carolina just hit a 2-run bomb in the top of the ninth. So Carolina leads Arkansas 6-4. LSU will get the winner of this game tomorrow at 4:30. I think we're probably all cheering for South Carolina because I don't think any of us want to see Hagen Smith. So go Cox. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling commercial or residential. Think real estate. Think Darren James. You know where to go. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Y'all, we've seen interest rates tick down, and if you follow the markets, the housing markets at all, what you'll notice is that ever since the rates started to tick down a bit, that was the catalyst for buyers to come into the market. A lot of people, I think, realized, hey, there's no sense in waiting for them to come down even further. It might not happen for another year. Who knows? But what you've seen now is an active market. And so now, because buyers are coming back into the market, you're starting to see homes flood the market. You're starting to see the inventory go up here in the greater Baton Rouge area. So what that means for you is if you're sitting on the fence, waiting, thinking if you should list your home, don't wait. You want to beat the rest of the market. You need Darren James. Online, agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Hit the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge app, powered by Bayou Ford, and tap the mic icon to send us your thoughts in audio form. Your message could be played on air during Off the Bench, The Hunt Palmer Show, and after further review. Speak up, tell us your location, and be heard. Find our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com.
Matt McMahon today announced a familiar addition to his basketball staff. It's David Patrick. Remember, David Patrick already did one stint here at LSU on Johnny Jones's staff. And notably, Patrick is a pretty dominant elite-level recruiter. David Patrick had the relationship with Ben Simmons, which is how Ben Simmons ended up here. If you're not familiar, David Patrick was born in Bermuda, moved to Australia at a young age, who has deep ties there. When he was on staff at St. Mary's, that's why St. Mary's had that pipeline of Australian players to St. Mary's in California, was David Patrick. And, of course, then David Patrick came and took the job at LSU on Johnny Jones's staff, and that was sort of the conveyor belt that got really the magnetic pull that got Ben Simmons, the number one player in the country, to LSU. But he also recruited Antonio Blakeney in that class. Brandon Sampson was in that class as well. So, from 2013, 14, 15, when David Patrick was here, I mean, he was a dominant top-flight recruiter. Since he left LSU, he's kind of gone on a bit of a circuitous route. He was at TCU for a couple of seasons. He went to UC Riverside, where he was the head coach. Then he got the head coaching job at Sacramento State. He was actually an assistant then at Arkansas and Oklahoma. Arkansas under Eric Musselman, then Oklahoma, then went to Sacramento State, where he got the head coaching job, and now he comes back to LSU from Sacramento State. So previously was at Nichols. So he had experience in Louisiana before he came to Baton Rouge the first time. Now his second go round. And look, if you are Matt McMahon, and I think most people roundly agree. They look at Matt McMahon and they say, great basketball coach, probably not the elite level top recruiter. That's fine. people said the same thing about Brian Kelly. So what do? You hire people on your staff that fill in the gaps where you might be weaker. You go get a dominant recruiter. That's what you've unequivocally done here with David Patrick. You got one of the best in the country in David Patrick coming back to Baton Rouge. So this feels like a really significant hire for Matt McMahon, considering you're talking about a guy that just inked a class that has 3 top 60 players in the country in it from the high school ranks, and you went and did work adding some key guys from the portal. Now, the only thing left to do, so to speak, is take it from those 3 top 60 guys to adding 5 stars into your class. Well, you want to do that? You got the right guy. The guy's already done it here already under Johnny Jones. And I think suffice to say, as good of a person, a recruiter, and legacy as Johnny Jones was at LSU, where he might have been deficient, was the X's and O's piece of basketball. Well, you got that with Matt McMahon and the staff you've hired. Now you're adding a guy who's got head coaching experience, amazing basketball mind as it is, and is also a dominant recruiter. Love this move by Matt McMahon, bringing David Patrick back to Baton Rouge. All right, we'll go around the SEC in just a quick second. Hey, if you're looking for dinner plans tonight, got to remind you about Supper Club. Look, you can always get a reservation at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. So if you're thinking about this weekend or even beyond, you got a special event coming up, a birthday, an anniversary, go to the website right now and book that reservation to secure your table, supperclubbtr.com. But I want to remind you, Supper Club, a little more than a month ago, started up opening bar seating. So you don't need a reservation to go into Supper Club and have a cocktail at the bar, a glass of wine. You want to grab a table in the bar if there's tables available, you can do that. You can eat your meal at the bar as well. I mean, it's a Wednesday night in Baton Rouge. Maybe you knock off of work. You don't want to go home. You and your coworkers normally go out. Instead of going to whatever normal place you normally go to the best place in Baton Rouge. Go to Supper Club. And you might say, Matt, but I don't have a sport coat. Doesn't matter. You don't need a sport coat. Go to the website. You can read the stated dress code at the website. Listen, I say it all the time. If you go to Supper Club and you want to have the best night of your life, and you want to be a baller, and you want to buy Dom Perignon, and you want to do $400 pours of cognac, and you want to buy a $5,000 bottle of wine, you want to eat Japanese Surishi A5 Wagyu. That Supper Club's one of 8 restaurants in the world that sell that specific Wagyu. Sashiri. I gotta polish up on my Japanese. You could do it at Supper Club. You want to go and have the best filet you've ever had, couple of apps, dessert, great bottle of wine, and do it for the same roughly price that you would at any fine dining restaurant in Baton Rouge. You can do that as well. But nowhere, no place matches or exceeds the experience you'll have at Supper Club. Get on by tonight or get your reservation at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. Okay, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Ole Miss Rebels.
So after the Ole Miss season ended Tuesday at the SEC tournament, Mike Bianco said he does expect to be back for a 25th season in Oxford. Quote, "You'll have to ask my boss, but I expect to be back after winning the national title a couple of years ago. Second consecutive year now that Ole Miss will miss the NCAA tournament. Rebs finished 27-29, just 11 SEC wins."
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
2025 receiver Kamari Williams has committed to Arkansas. 6'3", 185-pounder out of Florida. Was down to Arkansas, Ole Miss, Florida State, Indiana, Louisville, Pittsburgh, and others. He's a consensus 3-star recruit. As a sophomore in high school, Williams had 35 catches for 916 yards, averaged 26.2 yards a catch. He's the 6th Razorback commit for 2025.
The Auburn Tigers.
On the hardwood, Bruce Pearl has landed a transfer commitment from SMU's Jaheim Hudson. 6'7" forward, played in 31 of 33 games, averaged 5 and 3 there for the Ponies. Had a season-high 21 points in the NIT loss at Indiana State. Auburn. My bad, that was it.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Sorry. And Vandy landed a transfer commitment from Michigan State guard A.J. Hoggard. A.J. Hoggard commits to Vandy for the 24-25 season after spending 4 years there with the Spartans in East Lansing. Played in 131 career games, 83 starts. So an experienced veteran player joining the Vanderbilt team for next year. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We got Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro coming up next. So get your booze questions in. You can email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways to get your questions in for Taylor. Do that right now. They're bottom 9, and Arkansas has got a little something cooking. South Carolina up 6-4, and Arkansas has man on first and second with 1 out. So Gamecocks are 2 outs away from advancing to play LSU tomorrow at 4:30. We'll see if they can hang on or if the Hogs have a rally. Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro next.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about Action Industries. I get to do it every single day. Action, INDINC.com. If you're thinking about hiring an industrial contractor to do work in your plant, your refinery, if you have not had a conversation with Action Industries, you need to. If you're a maintenance manager, if you're a turnaround coordinator, you need to have a conversation with this amazing local company that will treat you like you are their number one priority. They have an exemplary safety record because you and I both know the only way you ever get hired to do work in the plant, number one, is you have to have an exemplary safety record, and their safety record beats the industry standard there at Action Industries. And then you got to do quality work, which is why they've been retained and hired over and over and over again over the last 42 years since 1982. It's Action Industries. Action, INDINC.com. You can check them out on LinkedIn as well. Proud partner of LSU Athletics. It's Action Industries.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. Got a booze question, get it in. Taylor's here to answer them. Email us, tweet us, text us. There's a guy named CP McDonald who just texted me. You never know what you're going to get on the text line. You friggin' hypocrite. You say you live by the golden rule. Love your neighbor. Like your negative comments about Kilgore, Texas to me. You talk about a lot of righteous bleep and people don't know the real you. You should step down immediately. Have I ever said anything about Kilgore, Texas? If you paid me $1 million to point to where Kilgore, Texas is on a map, I couldn't do it. Taylor, you're from Texas, aren't you?
No, I'm not from. My dad's from Texas. My dad's from Texas.
Could you point to Kilgore, Texas on a map?
Could not.
Maybe CP McDonald is drunk. You know what it feels like right now? It feels like the drunk old man from Big Daddy. You drunk
Hell
again?
yes.
You drunk again, Mr. Hurley? That's what that guy feels like. Anyway, what did I say about Kilgore, Texas? Maybe he's got the wrong guy. I don't know. Taylor, how are you?
I just passed through Kilgore, Texas.
Did you really?
Yeah, man.
Where's Kilgore?
I really didn't. I have no idea where that is.
I thought you were being for real.
No, man. What's up?
Well, I know you're salty today because you're on the wrong side of a bet with LSU and Kentucky today. Hate to see that.
Yeah. I believe it's one of your sponsors, too.
I mean, it's their rule. Whatever.
Situation. So LSU won too good today.
That's what happened.
It's basically what I got out of the whole deal. So I took LSU minus 1.5. And the stipulation that I didn't know is if they don't play 9 innings, your bet is void.
That's voided,
and I think did they void money line bets too?
I don't know. I doubt it.
Did they void over bets?
I have no idea.
The over was 10.5 too.
Go look at the fine print on what you sent me. Well, no, because the over would have hit already. The over would have already hit.
I see it.
Yeah.
No, the over would have hit as well, but they didn't play 9 innings because it was 10.5.
Yeah, but you can't take runs away. The point is that they played the 9th. Kentucky, in theory, could have come back, and your 1.5 maybe wouldn't have hit. That's
okay, but whatever. It's Bush League. Sorry, Bush League. Everybody I've said and told about today said it's Bush League. Whatever.
I got news for you, Coach. I got news for you, Coach. Read the fine print.
Yeah, I'm going to next time.
I did ask Jimmy, and he said not all books void bet. So, like, same thing in the big leagues, for example. Like, if there's rain after you played to the middle of the 5th.
And I understand that's why that rule is there.
Yeah.
But you're stretching it real far when somebody gets run ruled and you don't pay it out. That's not very ethical to me. I don't know.
They won too good, but you know what?
Yeah.
It's right there, man. It says it right there under the bet. So
go Tigers.
So what are you going to drink today to commiserate?
Well, tomorrow I'm getting. Actually, I drank some Opus One this morning.
This morning
when I got to the store. Yeah, I had a customer return a bottle that said it wasn't good, and I tried it, and it was fantastic. So,
hell yes.
Guess what I'm drinking tonight, Matt?
What of it? What's that?
Yeah, guess what I'm drinking tonight? Opus One that wasn't good, and I put that in the heaviest quotations ever. So
that's so good.
We're getting a Buffalo Trace barrel tomorrow, and we're getting 10 cases, I think, at both locations.
Nice.
So in our Buffalo Trace barrels, and I think in general, are one of the most popular barrels we still put out because they're very inexpensive and they're wildly different than the shelf product you get from Buffalo Trace, in my opinion.
I agree with you. Lenson Mobile says they didn't void the money line on FanDuel, and Mike Cowart said DraftKings paid out the bet. So you may want to send a complaint. If nothing else, they might. Well, I guess they would have refunded you your initial bet, but if it was voided, but they might.
They paid out the bet. Yeah, but they didn't. They just refunded the money. They just Yeah. So, no, they didn't pay out any bet. I mean, I'm looking at my account right now.
I understand. Yeah. Taylor is salty. Hey, Scott Harms said, thoughts on turkey generations?
Man, I love turkey, and I haven't got to try the Generations. It's really pricey, and the Generations was a blend of some older liquid that they had. I can't remember the age statements on them, but I haven't got to try it. I've heard it's really good, but like I said, it's pricey. I think it retails for like $400-ish, $500, $450-ish, something like that, but I've heard it's very good.
Shout out to Joe Simon and Adrian Bailey, who both note that Kilgore is kind of between Longview and Tyler, East Texas, right off of I-20, kind of between Shreveport and Dallas. So there we go. We've reached.
We should know that. Oh, I've seen the sign for Kilgore.
I don't know why I should know that. Texas is a massive place. All right, we got to go. Thanks, Taylor.
See you, man.
All right, that's Taylor Calandro. David Fleshman talking some NIL next at AFR.
AFR.
Remember, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. If you are in the market for a new vehicle or might be, get on by and see our friends at South Point Volkswagen. I've had the pleasure for more than a decade now, actually 13 years now, to endorse South Point Volkswagen. And they've always got the best deals because they're Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. So if you go to the website, you go to the top of the website, top of the homepage, you'll see all of the Memorial Day deals that they have going on right now for Memorial Day weekend. Pro tip as well, if you're looking to buy a car, it's always better to buy a car at the end of a month when you might have dealerships that have to meet certain sales quotas. So it's always better to go at the end of the month. So at the top of the website, you'll see all of the Memorial Day celebration deals. You can view the inventory, and you'll also see at the top the $500 off for college students. Every college student, no matter what, $500 off your purchase at South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A couple of days after a thrilling Game 7 win to knock out the defending NBA champion Nuggets, the Timberwolves are home to the Mavericks in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals tonight, 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Minnesota favored to win the series per ESPN Bet. ESPN NBA analyst Chiney Ogwumike.
As much as the T-Wolves have the weapons defensively, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, Karl-Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, Anthony Edwards, Luka is a bad man. And I think he knows that they are the underdog. I think their entire team knows that. And for some reason, that is the recipe. That is the blueprint for him to thrive when you count them out.
Janae on Carlin versus Joe. Luka Doncic, right knee sprain and left ankle soreness listed as probable. Next point guard Jalen Brunson had surgery to repair his broken left hand. He'll be evaluated again in 6 to 8 weeks. The NHL's Final Four starts tonight. Rangers, Panthers, Game 1 of the East Final, 8 Eastern, ESPN. WNBA, Indiana rookie Caitlin Clark intends to play tonight in Seattle despite a stiff and sore left ankle.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty, coming up Thursday. Even though they gave away Game 1, I'll tell you why I have faith in the Pacers in Game 2. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Taylor Sharp. Musu. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. It is final there in Hoover. South Carolina beats Arkansas, meaning LSU and the Gamecocks will face each other tomorrow. 4:30 Central Time scheduled first pitch in a winner's bracket game there in Hoover. One of the giant stories, probably the biggest story in college football on Monday, was former Florida, Arizona State, current Georgia quarterback Jaden Rashada filing a $14 million lawsuit against Billy Napier, for Florida boosters, for damages after he apparently agreed to an NIL deal with them that they reneged on and ultimately sent him to Arizona State. Well, David Fleshman, who prepped here locally at the Dunham School, was on the LSU Final Four basketball team, now is a successful attorney, and does a lot of NIL law, is good enough to join us to give us some context on all this. David, we appreciate it. How are you?
I'm doing well, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for jumping aboard. Reaction when you first saw the Jaden Rashada lawsuit?
Not surprised that it was filed. I mean, this isn't a brand new story, but was certainly surprised by the details that were the allegations that were asserted. A lot of detail went into that. I mean, it's a 37-page complaint filed in federal court that reads like a novel with pictures inserted in there, with screenshots of social media posts, text messages, and all of that. So initial reaction was it is a bombshell. It is very significant. Not a good day over there in Gainesville and their legal department.
Can Jaden Rashada win? Like, does he have a case?
Yeah. So, first, there's a couple things to say. First of all, these are just allegations, and I think everyone recognizes that this is not a neutral recitation of the facts. This is one side of the story. So what'll be really interesting to see is in 21 days from now, the defendants will have an opportunity to file their response, their answers to this. They're not going to answer all the questions. They're going to admit or deny these allegations, which I would imagine most of them are going to be pretty hard denials. So, that's the first thing. The second thing is this is under Florida law, and I certainly think the way that they've laid it out, they've made a good case as to why they should win. And essentially, they've brought fraudulent misrepresentation claims and civil conspiracy to commit fraud. So there's, what they don't directly assert is an action for breach of contract, which I find very interesting. It's an interesting move. They are not asserting that the deal just somehow just fell through and that they're entitled to the full $13.85 million that allegedly they were promised. The real crux of it is that Florida and really, directly their head coach induced him to flip his commitment to Miami, where he already had a $9.5 million deal on the table. And so really that's what the damages that it looks like he is trying to recover is really that $9.5 million, not just not $13.85. So that's a legal nuance. I'm not going to bore everyone to sleep on that, but they were not laying out the elements for a breach of contract case. They were more focused on fraud, that they induced him to leave his school where he had $9.5 million laid out in Miami, and for $4 million more, and which the defendants allegedly knew or should have known that that money was not in the bank, and they had no intention of paying in the first place.
Do you think that this case, however it results, if it goes to trial, if Rashada wins, if it settles, whatever, that this will set some sort of legal precedent that will, induce future similar actions?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the one we've been waiting for, not necessarily against, directly just against a booster or even a head coach, but even a brand. What we haven't seen are a lot of cases, or really any other major cases, where an athlete is suing a brand or the other party to an NIL contract, claiming that the other party did not perform and that they promised to pay them. So yes, I think this lays that framework. I think this is going to be the start of many because of the suit. We're going to see many across the country. I would say, whether it's over $500, $5,000, or $5 million. This is the framework.
What if Jaden Rashada loses?
Well, if he loses, I would imagine that will be probably after several other lawsuits are filed, and if these other lawsuits are filed by good attorneys, they'll figure out why they lost and change those portions of their allegations and only bring the cases that don't have those elements as to why he loses. Here's why I don't think he loses. Florida is not a named defendant in this lawsuit, but their head football coach is. So that's another interesting wrinkle to this. And there's even allegations that one of Hugh Hathcock's companies, one of the defendants, is responsible for the boosters' actions. But there's not any allegation against Florida for being directly responsible for their own head football coach's actions, as well as a former director of player engagement and NIL, who's a named defendant. Florida, I would imagine, does not want to have to answer discovery and depositions to be conducted. I can't imagine Coach Napier wants to do the same. I can't imagine he wants to be sworn in and ask questions about his involvement, not just with this case, but in for other players and other deals. Same with the booster. He is not going to want to have to explain all of this under oath and to put forth a defense. So, I think that's why I don't see him losing. I think this is a settlement type of case. I think that's probably the primary motive behind it. It may cost a lot less for all of them to settle this case. So we will see. It'll be very telling to see the defendant's first counter to this.
Why, attorney David Fleshman is our guest. Why is it significant that Florida isn't named, the university or the athletic department?
Well, I'm surprised that they're not named. I don't know exactly why they're not named. But typically when an employee it has done something wrong or caused some damage, typically you see plaintiffs going after their employer because they're vicariously responsible for the actions of their employees. So I don't know if that was just a strategic move to not make this kind of more just about an attack on Florida. I mean, there were backhands all throughout the complaint to Miami, which it's a very interesting read. But I think Florida may get added to it, and it'll be interesting to see what the other defendants do. But I think that there's some potential NCAA compliance issues here as well. It would not be a good day for Coach Napier, and really, at least if the allegations are true, his direct involvement in promising that Jaden gets his money if he signs, if he flips his commitment.
Man, it's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out. While I got you here, literally since we've been talking, the Big Ten presidents have voted to approve the settlement in the House versus the NCAA case. This is what would essentially, and I'm oversimplifying, so correct me if I'm wrong, this is what would allow athletic departments to participate in a revenue share with their student athletes. What's your reaction to this, to all the conferences essentially agreeing here to settle this case?
Yeah, this is extremely complicated, and now you see a lot of infighting between the different institutions, the different conferences, and that's really in large part because of the revenue that has been received by the Power 4, Power 5 is significantly more than the other major conferences in Division I. So there's been a lot of discussion and a lot of pushback as to what is the proper allocation of the share of the damages in that class action lawsuit, the House case. And so it is interesting to see the different posturing. There's legitimate arguments on both sides as to who should front the cost of that. But it looks like, from everything that I've seen, it looks like it could be anywhere from $20 million for schools in the Power 4 to have to split up somehow between the different athletes, and including some in the past before NIL was changed. So it's extremely complicated. It is. Title IX comes in to play. How are the schools planning to split that up? That's probably not going to be dictated in the settlement itself, I would not imagine. I think it's pretty clear that the attorneys for the plaintiffs, aren't that they view this as an NCAA and conference problem for them to figure out, not for the plaintiffs to figure out. They just want the money. They want for all the student athletes to be paid. So it is very complicated. This is one of the largest, one of the biggest weeks for college athletics and shaping the future because of these conversations, because of these proposals, and I think by the end of the week, anything we talk about now might already be outdated.
David Fleshman, attorney David Fleshman, man, how much money would David Fleshman have gotten back in 2006?
He wouldn't have gotten a whole lot, I can tell you that.
I don't know, man. You're on a Final Four team. I think they're backing up the Brinks truck, man.
That's right.
Fired
That's
up
right.
for that.
Coach Brady. You know how Coach Brady feels about NIL. So
I do know how Coach Brady. He and I have gone round and round about it many times.
I think he's finally starting to come to our side.
I don't think that will ever happen. I think he's out playing golf and having a margarita somewhere, and he should be. It's exactly what he should be doing right now.
That's right, Matt. Quick quiz. Do
Yeah.
you know where David Patrick, who just was hired today, do you know where he graduated from high school?
Dunham.
That's right.
Or I guess Trafton at the time.
Chapel Trafton. To be
there you go.
correct.
See, look,
Yep.
Fleshman, let's act like I don't know.
Now that guy would have made some NIL money.
Nah, yeah, he would have made some. I mean, look, that's a big get. We talked about it last hour, about 45 minutes ago. Big get for Matt McMahon getting David Patrick back here.
Absolutely. We're happy to have him back.
No doubt, man. Hey, we appreciate it as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, man, be well. That's David Fleshman. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. They do it all over at Relief Windows. They do it better than anyone else. I tell you this often, and I mean it sincerely. If you're going to get 3 or 4 or 5 bids for your windows to hire whoever's going to give you the best price, don't call Relief Windows. I'm telling you, don't call Relief Windows because they're not going to be the cheapest. They're just when you sell the best quality products, when you offer a lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage, when you never take a dollar from your customer until the job is done and they are thrilled, no down payment at all. When you have a full service department, I'm not talking about the installers, the measure techs. I mean people whose dedicated job only is to service the customer whenever there's an issue. Yeah, that's going to cost a little bit more. But you know what you'll always have? Literally the best possible customer service experience. When you don't pay them until they're done and you're thrilled, nobody else does that. Just Relief Windows. Windows, door, siding. Oh, yeah, they do indoor shutters as well. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. Legendary sports writer Rick Telander is going to be in studio with us in 15 minutes. And I'm excited about that because, by the way, just as a local time, Rick Telander is the reporter who wrote the Mike Ditka-Ricky Williams story for ESPN, the magazine, back in 1999 when Ricky wore the dress. That was Rick Telander. Guy is won more awards than I could name. He's in the National Sports Writers Hall of Fame. And there's a weird tie why he's going to be in studio with us, but the really cool thing is he's doing some great stuff for kids and for local children's hospitals and schools in the area with our friend Jeff Marks. So I want to tell that story. We're going to do that here in about 15 minutes from right now. And I will ask him about the wedding dress photo with Ricky and Mike Ditka. So that's coming up in about 15 minutes. LSU baseball is moving on. Well, let's hear from Jay Johnson, Gage Jump, Jared Jones, and the like when we return on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. One of the best parts about River City's 1 Hour Air is when a technician comes to your house and they perform some type of job. Let's say there's a checkup or there's something wrong. They're going to sit down with you and they're not going to push a service on you, but they're going to explain in a way you can understand what's wrong. And then they're going to give you a good, better, and best option how to address it. And they're never going to pressure you to do the most expensive thing, but they're going to explain all of your options. That's why you have so many 5-star Google reviews. Leslie Miller Danzy left this 5-star Google review of Joseph, the technician. Joseph communicated what he was doing and what my AC needs were very effectively. He was professional and knowledgeable. Another 5-star Google review for River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision.
50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Open stance at the plate for Nicholson. Here's the 2-2 from Holman. And a swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes Nicholson. Holman. Some tough luck here in the bottom of the fourth, but he records his 4th strikeout and keeps the Tigers in front.
I'd say big mentally. Stay mentally. I'd say I'm mentally strong, so I was able to battle through that and, go to sleep really early and, get your body ready and just get mentally ready for it. So.
Luke Holman talking about how he was able to pitch on short rest, coming back on just 4 days rest, a plan that Jay Johnson disclosed. He laid out to Gage Jump and Luke Holman nearly a month ago with these 2 days in mind, thinking that the first 2 days of the SEC tournament were possibly going to be significant for this team, and it played out that way that they were. I mean, LSU needed to sweep Ole Miss and presumably get at least one win in Hoover. They did that beating Georgia. Now they've started 2-0, an emphatic run rule win over Kentucky, 8-0, largely on the backs of Gage Jump, who was awesome yesterday, giving you 7 innings of one-run ball. And Luke Holman today, who threw 6 no-hit innings. He was pulled after 6 at 100 pitches, having not given up a hit. And the strikeout you heard there to end the 4th, in my opinion, was the biggest sequence of the game for Holman. At that point, LSU was up 2-0. They'd squandered a couple of opportunities, again, to blow the game open, but they were leading 2-0 in the 4th. Petrie walked to open the 4th. And after walking the leadoff man, Holman got a foul out and a ground out. And so with 2 outs and a runner on second, Daly hits a ground ball to short, and Braswell boots it. Should have gotten you out of the inning. Braswell kicked it and allowed Petrie to get to third with 2 outs. And maybe the most significant part there is through 4, Holman's pitch count was starting to get elevated. And he comes back and he gets the strikeout of Nicholson, which you just heard, to end the 4th inning. Not let that run get home, to limit, to eliminate the threat. You maintain the 2-0 lead. And at the time I tweeted, it was a giant spot for Holman to shake off the error by Braswell, to come back, to eliminate the damage, to end the threat, and to get off the field. But at that point, he was at 75 pitches through 4 innings. 75 pitches through 4 innings. And the hope was that you could get him at least through 6, and he was going to have to be more efficient. Well, look at what he did in the 5th. He hit McCarthy to lead off the 5th, but came back and went strikeout, pop-out, strikeout. By the way, the pop-out was a pop-out bunt. Hashtag never bunt. And then in the 6th, he got Kentucky in order. Fly out, strikeout, fly out. And just like that, you're through 6, and then with a 2-0 lead, and then in the 7th was where LSU put up the 5 spot, where Jones and Travinski went back-to-back. Jones hit the grand slam. Travinski followed with a homer. And then, of course, in the 8th, Tommy White would hit a homer to punctuate it, a grand slam, 11-0 for the Tigers. It was the pitching performances by Jump and Holman the last 2 days are the reason why you're in the position you are and why you can feel good about this team moving forward. Now, Jay Johnson, after the game, did talk about the decision to pull Luke Holman while he was throwing a no-hitter.
Oh, yeah, no shot. He was going back out. He finished with 100. Was looking at like 80 to 95 was kind of my target. And then he got those 2 quick outs in the 6th against their best hitters. And, it was a little bit wobbly. Like I was even considering going to get him in the 5th, which if I'm going to let anybody ride it to the win, it's that guy. I mean, he's one of the best pitchers I've ever had. And he got through that after we made an error, and that's what he does. And then he got a quick inning the next inning. And he got a quick inning the next inning. And I can't speak of how good a pitcher I think Luke is.
He's awesome. I mean, in a season where Gage jump didn't really emerge for you until the Missouri series when you're in the second half of conference play, the only consistent, like when you were at 3-12, the only games you won were games Luke Holman started. I mean, he was the only consistent thing that you had in the first half of conference play. And obviously, he's just never let up. He's been awesome all year. 2 other players that are worth highlighting from today are, of course, Jared Jones, who hit the big grand slam, which gave LSU the 6-0 lead, and Michael Braswell, who's really thrived in the leadoff spot. First of all, Jones has he's struggled a bit of late. His average is down to 289, and the home run numbers we're going to look at 23, which are great, but the 65 strikeouts lead the team. Travinsky's second with 59, and then you have just a massive gap from those 2 to everybody else. But the 65 strikeouts for Jones, I mean, that was his problem a year ago, and the strikeouts are what kind of cost him his opportunity to continue playing in SEC play because, yes, you could mash a homer, but if you're 1 for 4 with 3 strikeouts and a homer, is it worth it? Now, the interesting thing is that makes him a perfect fit for the next level because strikeouts are at an all-time high in Major League Baseball and professional baseball because that sort of approach is acceptable. You'll take 1 for 4 with 3 strikeouts if the 1 is a friggin' grand slam and gives you 4 runs. So now, Jones only struck out once today, but Jay was asked about that grand slam, that moment, and what that means for Jared Jones. He's kind of been fighting it a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was important. And, as soon as they moved up on the wild pitch pass ball, it was like, and even though there was a strike, it's like, okay, they're going to walk him. And the thing I liked about that is in a bases loaded situation, there's not a lot of margin for error missing outside the zone. And he punishes you when you're in the zone. And I thought his at-bats were good today. I thought he was under control. You heard him talk about just trying to get something that was elevated and hit a sacrifice fly. Like, that's a lot of maturity. Because if I had a body like that, I'd be swinging for the moon. So, which he's done sometimes. That hasn't gone over well with me. But really proud of him.
Here was that bite from Jared Jones about his mindset through that at-bat where he hit the grand slam.
For most of that at bat, I was just kind of like thinking to myself, just get a pitch up. And then once I got to 2 strikes, I was just kind of like, okay, just get at least 1 run in, bases loaded, 1 out. So hit a sacrifice fly. So I was really just trying to hunt elevation, and he hung a curveball. So, I don't look into them walking Tommy too much. I mean, I understand it. He's, the best hitter on our team and probably the best hitter in college baseball. So being able to hit behind him has been awesome all season, and just looking to keep doing that.
I mean, that was one that as you're watching it, it was kind of curling toward the line and you're holding your breath a little. Like, is it going to get out of there? Jones didn't actually even run until the ball landed, and he realized they called it fair. But it was just a massive moment in the game, to say the very least. So the Tigers win. They're moving on. They'll take on South Carolina. 4:30 scheduled first pitch for LSU in South Carolina Thursday at the Hoover Met in a winner's bracket game. The winner tomorrow, if LSU wins tomorrow, you get the day off Friday. And you advance to Saturday, which is back to single elimination. Obviously, you win Saturday, you're into the championship. You lose Saturday, the tournament's over. But a huge opportunity for LSU tomorrow, especially because you are going to avoid Hagen Smith from Arkansas. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. Rick Telander, one of the most decorated sports writers that you'd ever want to see, who, as I mentioned a bit ago, infamously wrote the story with Ricky Williams and Mike Ditka, where Ricky was wearing the wedding dress for ESPN magazine. But he's in town doing some really great charitable stuff with a new children's book that he's got out. We're excited to have Rick Telander in studio with us next on AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, and it's just that time of year, man. It's just that time of year when you get into spring and towards summer, when we all get outside more. We love to be in our backyards, our outdoor spaces. You're out in the pool, the outdoor kitchen, grilling on the patio, whatever it may be. You want to add some life and some color and some beauty and some serenity to your outdoor spaces. Clegg's Nursery can help. They've got full greenhouses with beautiful flowers. I've told you before, Diplodenias are Erica's favorite. They're amazing, colorful, beautiful tropical plants that thrive in this Louisiana heat. So we have those all over our backyard. I mean, reds and oranges and yellows, they're amazing. So check them out when you get by Clegg's Nursery. If you need flowers or plants or trees or shrubs, if you need mulch or soil, bag or bulk, they got it. You want to invite some friendly creatures like bird feeders, hummingbird feeders, they got those as well. And if you need to keep the pests out of your back door and your backyard area, Clegg's can help with that as well. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Live After 5 is back this spring. Clock out and rock out with us Fridays from April 12th through May 24th in downtown Baton Rouge for the free concert series 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join us for another season filled with incredible music, delicious food, talented artists, and a lively second line parade. This Friday, come out to see the Michael Foster Project for Live After 5.
If you don't know the name Rick Telander, that's okay. But if I were to run through all of his accolades, it would take up all the time of this segment, quite literally. But he is in the National Sports Writers Hall of Fame. He wrote for Sports Illustrated and ESPN, the magazine, and you saw him on the Sports Reporters. He's a career radio and newspaper guy. And in the very short time that he's been in studio with us, he has really morphed well into our culture. He took a shot at Musso unknowingly, which was really fun. He and Taylor have the exact same phone case. I mean, you're already part of the show, man.
I picked up on Matt that whole thing immediately. I don't know why. It was pheromones, I think.
So good. Our audience is going to love that.
He's a good dude. And yes, the phone is pure genius that we have the same matching bright yellow color. Yep.
We'll call it green because, as
Or
they
green,
say,
yeah, green. Whatever.
Geniuses pick green from the movie Meet the Parents. I teased to our audience that the way that they would certainly know you is that you're the guy who wrote the story when Mike Ditka and Ricky Williams wore the dress.
Yes.
And obviously for Saints fans, that's something that's iconic here, probably for some of the wrong reasons. Were you there for the photo shoot, or were you part of that?
I was not there for the photo shoot. I worked on that story with Dan Lebitard. Right. He did half, and I did the other half. And I had no idea. We knew it was going to be. I think we knew they were going to do a photo shoot. We did not know that Ricky Williams would be able to fit into a wedding dress. And, of course, it takes two very unusual people. Wouldn't you agree to pose for that thing?
I can't believe they agreed to do it.
No.
I mean, Ricky. I guess Ricky is. He's always just been. He's marched to the beat
He's
of a
his own
different
guy.
drum. He continues to be uniquely himself. So maybe not completely odd, but yeah, man. I mean,
and
like
Ditka,
there it is.
If there's ever been somebody who's got a drum that's different, I'd say it was Mike Ditka. So the two of them is a match made in heaven.
I mean, in preparing for this, I mean, I obviously read through your career, so you would have covered Mike Ditka in Chicago,
Sure.
then with those Bears teams. What was it like covering Ditka then, from what you saw with the Saints? Which all of our audience, of course, knows Mike Ditka from. Of course, you know who Mike Ditka is, but the very failed second act in New Orleans.
Yeah, well, in certain ways, it started with trading all of your draft picks for Ricky Williams, which was, he's a great player, but it's kind of insane. So it started on this crazy note. He was like a fish out of water. I think, he's from Pittsburgh, but he's kind of like a Chicago icon. And he played for the Bears. He also played for the Cowboys a little, and I think maybe the Eagles briefly. But he's just a Chicago guy. And it was very sad the way his career ended. He was really upset. He really upset with Michael McCaskey firing him. So he wanted to get back into coaching. He was young, and he took a job where maybe he shouldn't have been.
Yeah. It's an era of Saints football that many would like to forget, but quite honestly, before Sean Payton, there wasn't much to remember about Saints football. But Rick Telander is in studio with us here. Look, you played as well at Northwestern, and then a brief stint with the Kansas City Chiefs. Thoughts on what the Chiefs have become here?
What about when they? I'm sorry. What when the?
What your thoughts on what the Chiefs have become now with this dynasty and watching?
Oh, what
Patrick
they've become.
Mahomes?
Okay,
Oh, yeah, sure.
I thought maybe they were coming to New Orleans.
No, I'm sorry. well, the Saints have to go play at Arrowhead on Monday Night Football in Week 5, and that's not going to go.
No,
super
no,
well.
I'm not amazed, but I'm amazed because it all comes down to the organization, and the Bears could have had Patrick Mahomes, and that's another thing. I hate to bring it back around to Chicago, but they didn't pick him. They pitched Mitchell Trubisky, and moved up to take Trubisky, who's barely hanging on in the league. And so there you have Patrick Mahomes, and that was the start of something. He and Andy Reid, somehow it just trickled down to every part of the team. It's taken it back to the glory years when Hank Stram was there. I'm happy as can be. I have an ancient photo of me in a Chiefs uniform, and the uniforms haven't changed.
That's awesome.
Which is cool. Yeah, so I can say, hey, look at me.
Did you play with Johnny Robinson?
Yes, I'm going to tell you, Johnny Robinson was the old veteran when I was there. And he had a bit of a Cajun accent, and he told me, he said, Rick, when they're coming across the middle, I'm not going to do a Cajun accent. He said, he showed me how to grab the jersey, and he had hands like a vice. He wasn't a huge guy, but he was strong as can be. A way to cheat, and he said the refs won't see it. And I'll never forget that. He showed me. I thanked him for that. Didn't extend my career, but
I got one more. Then we'll get to. I promise we'll get to the reason why you're here. But I feel like I could talk to you all day. But you were also part of an era in media, not just obviously as a writer, but also radio and television. You contributed on Sports Reporters, and actually, I'd learned this. I didn't know this existed. The sports writers on TV predated Sports Reporters.
Yes.
And Sports Reporters is kind of known as the show that sort of that gave a voice instead of a literary written voice, like a physical voice to writers.
Yeah.
What if you put yourself back in that time, and now that's so many writers have you almost can't just be a writer anymore, right? I mean, everybody you have to be able to adapt into every form of media now. could you have foreseen any of that? Like, did you know you were doing something
Nobody
groundbreaking
could foresee
in media?
the internet and the ability to use that little phone there that is lime green. All of us cool people have lime green covers, so we don't lose it in our cars, which have black seats.
That's in mine's
okay?
black. You lose
That's
it
the whole
anywhere.
point. But no, you couldn't have foreseen all that. And I got to tell you, the old boys who started that show, the sports writers on TV, it was on cable, and cable was just coming. A lot of people didn't have it. I'd say half the country, at least half the country, didn't have cable then. All different cable systems all over the country. So our show would be on at different times. It started in December of 1985. That's how long ago. And those guys, Bill Gleason, Bill Joust, and Ben Bentley, the original three, they had a fourth named George Langford. He was the sports editor at the Tribune, and he couldn't make the TV show. He'd been on radio. They'd all done it on radio, on WGN radio, which went a pretty big broadcast, AM. And what people always said was sports writers have, they have voices that they should stay on the field, and they have faces for radio. So we're never going to put them on TV. But those guys were way ahead of their times, way ahead of their times. They're smoking cigars, and they
On TV?
On TV. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. And the super fans, the thing with George Wendt and those guys.
Yeah? Oh, yeah.
That's all
On SNL.
Yeah, we know all those guys. That's
awesome.
a takeoff from the sports writers, and then the sports reporters with Dick Schaap came afterwards, because the round table kind of talking thing is just such a natural way to get information out.
Yeah. Rick Telander is our guest, longtime accomplished sports writer. I'm not going to run through all of the many awards you've won, but we're thrilled to have you in studio. And the reason you're here is our mutual friend Jeffrey Marks reached out to me, told me about this project that you worked on, and it's a children's book of poems of 42 original poems that you wrote. And you're using all of this for a great way for community involvement, which I want to delve into. But could you first maybe just tell us the story of what led you to write a children's book of poems?
Well, there's two ways that it started. One, the immediate way was I was very sick in a hospital. I had this intestinal thing. It was in my colon, my large intestine, my appendix basically was bursting. Nobody could figure it out. I don't know why. So I was in that hospital for 2.5 weeks without eating, with all these tubes in me. And I was so miserable. I was so nauseated. I couldn't look at TV. I couldn't read a book. I couldn't stand the smell of perfume or soap. I couldn't look at the wallpaper. It was an awful time. I had, at one time, I counted 7 tubes in me, going by my nose, my mouth. And so to keep from going crazy, I started writing poems in my head. And the reason I did that, I'd been an English literature major at Northwestern while playing football on a football scholarship. And my senior year kind of specialized in poetry. And I'd always been fascinated with poetry. And I don't consider myself a poet. I'm a longtime sports writer. There I am. I'm one of the old guys. But this was a way to keep my sanity. And as I did it, I started thinking about, okay, here I am. I'm 40 years old. This is 30 years ago, 41, whatever the hell I was. And I'm thinking about little kids who are in the same position I am and terrified and alone. And I thought, why don't these poems that I'm writing in my head, why don't I make it for children? And why don't I get them illustrated, each of the 42 poems. I didn't know it was going to be 42. It took years. Each one illustrated by a different artist. And I know about your son, Drew, and God love Jeff Marks has been chauffeuring me around. It's just been great. And I knew Jeff from way back, and I think people here know who he is.
Yeah.
But
our audience does for sure. Certainly.
Yeah, and we've been to the Ronald McDonald House in New Orleans, the Children's Hospital here, Our Lady of the Lake. And seeing these kids and talking to the families, and they each get a book because it says on the inside cover, this book belongs to, and the little kid can write his name there, even if they can't print. Some are really little kids, but then their parents can't. And they take it with them when they leave. So that was kind of my impetus to do it, and it took forever. And this is like the fruition of it. I kind of can't believe it, but it took 30 years.
Can you tell us some of the story of the art behind the poems in the book as well?
There's artists from 4 different countries. It says, Sweet Dreams, Poems and Paintings for the Child of Bed. Very retro kind of title, because this is kind of a retro thing. It's a book. And yeah, there it is. And it says Rick Telander and his artist friends. I have a habit of becoming friends with everybody that I work with. I just do. I can't leave them. And so anyway, with the artists, I had to get in touch with all of them. I knew maybe 3 or 4, but the other 38 or whatever I had to find via their art that I saw either on the cover of a magazine. I saw it in maybe an ad somewhere. I saw it in an art museum. Some of these are artists whose paintings go for tens of, $20,000, $100,000, and they agreed to do these illustrations. So I found one in Korea. This woman, and she did the poem, I think, In the Middle of the Night, and her real name is Ji Kim, Ji whatever, but she just goes by Jean Kim. Okay, so she's there. I sent her a copy of the book. It cost $35 just to send it there. And the book only cost $19.99.
I know, I'm looking at Amazon. I'm like, you spent more to send it than the cost of the book.
And another artist, my wife and I just took a trip to England and Ireland. We actually went for a wedding, a good friend, daughter, and we went to meet another artist in a tiny town called Calne, England, about 80 miles west of London. And we were with him and his family for 2 or 3 days. And like all the other artists I've met, and I would send sketches back and forth. So it's a collaborative work.
Yeah. We're short on time. We got about a minute, but I know it's incredible. You donated 100 books to the Ronald McDonald's House in New Orleans, 100 books to Children's Hospital here in Baton Rouge as well, which is amazing, and thank you for that. And I can tell you did mention Drew, and I shared this with Jeff before you and I met. I have very, very vivid memories. And for those that don't know, my son was in the hospital for about 9 months when he was born, of so many organizations and the way, and a lot of times it was parents, maybe of children who had been sick, and they started an organization. And there was one I'll never forget. It was Bennett's Bears. It was a family whose their son Bennett died, and the way that they carried his legacy was every year they would buy a bunch of these stuffed teddy bears, and they would go and give them to the children in the hospital. So in my son's bed, we still have his Bennett bear in his bed. So my point is, you made even if you don't know it today, you made an impact on people's lives today by doing that. So thank you for that. But could we also mention the Swole Fest fishing rodeo?
Oh, yeah.
Please,
fishing rodeo.
You're going to have to, I'll put it on a tee. You just take it, Rick.
This is in honor of that because they have donated so much money to different hospitals, Ronald McDonald House here, particularly in Baton Rouge. And there's a dentist, I don't know his name, who started it. But, I mean, this is just a good charity. And this is a little bit I could do. And, of course, Jeff Marks helping out immensely. For each little kid to their family to be able to take this book with them, that makes me happy. That's it.
I just pulled up the website here for Swolefest. It's swolefest.com. SWOLLFEST, swolefest.com. And the rodeo is coming up June 5th through the 8th. Taylor, if you want to pull it up, thank you. There it is right there for those who are interested. Swolefest.com if you want to learn more about that organization and the rodeo, again, coming up at the Grand Isle Marina in just a few weeks here at the beginning of June. Rick Telander, it's a pleasure. We got to talk again, too, because I need to know more about the Ricky Williams, the dress store. Working with Levitard on that, pulling the whole thing together. We got to do like a deep dive into that one day. That'd be fascinating.
I'll tell you about Ricky Williams driving Levitard and me through the streets of New Orleans. If I can relive it. Oh, my.
That would be amazing. All right, we are definitely doing this again another time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt.
That is Rick Telander. But I should mention also, of course, you can pick up your copy of Sweet Dreams, Poems and Paintings for the Child of Bed, Amazon or wherever you get books. Again, the cover is a purple and black, a night sky picture with a green butterfly on the cover. Sweet Dreams.
That's a Luna moth.
A Luna moth.
Yes, it is.
Well, thank you for the correction because I would have just said
no.
butterfly.
That's okay. Luna means moon, and
makes sense. Absolutely. Make sure you pick up Sweet Dreams there at Amazon or however you get books. It's after further review. Stick around.
AFR.
Love telling you about our friends over at Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. If you are a business owner and you're struggling with the hiring process, and let's be honest, since COVID, that's the reality so many business owners face. Finding reliable people who can work, want to work, meet the criteria that you need, the requirements, both physical and the abilities to be able to do the job that you need. Glow Resources eliminates all of that guesswork. They grade themselves by their retention. When they put one of their employees in your business, how long do they stay? Glow Resources has a 93% retention rate. This is skilled blue-collar workers. This is white-collar, C-level management. And this isn't just in Louisiana. They place their employees in jobs all over the world. If you're an employer and you need to get out of the hiring rat race, you need Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Oh, we'll catch up on Saints OTAs with Matthew Paris after Sports Center right now. Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Western Conference Finals getting underway tonight. Naz Reid will be back on the floor.
Should have stayed.
In 11 postseason games, Naz is averaging 10-3 so far. Coming off a huge fourth quarter, though, in the Game 7 clinching win over the Denver Nuggets to advance the Timberwolves into the Western Conference Finals. See, I said I was going to try to go fast, and this is what happens. Alex Lang, really rough outing for Langer earlier today. 4 earned in 1 inning of work. The game kind of got away from the Tigers there. They fell 8-3 to the Kansas City Royals. Paul Gervais picks up save number 2 last night for the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. It was a perfect inning of work. 2 strikeouts on the docket for Paul Gervais as well as he continues to climb the ranks now in Double-A baseball. Although I kind of do wish he'd go back and be with the Cyclones. Dylan Cruz was 2 for 4 last night with a triple. Cam Sanders picked up his first hold of the season. Perfect inning for him with a strikeout. And then after further reviews, favorite player, Hunter Fiducia. Huge night. Huge night for Fiducia. 3 for 5, 4 RBI, a double in that as well with 2 runs scored. That is Tigers in the Pros.
Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. I always say eye care, eyewear, eye surgery, of course, your refractive procedures. If you buy contacts or glasses, you can buy them, of course, at the Williamson Eye Center or optical shop. But you should always have your eye exam at the Williamson Eye Center. And today, our friends over at the Williamson Eye Center are wishing a happy retirement to Dr. Rashada, who, after 45 years of serving the Ascension community as an optometrist, now off to enjoy his well-deserved retirement. So you can go check out, they had a post about him today on the Williamson Eye Center's social media. So congrats to Dr. Rashada. Thank you for serving the community the way you did for 45 years, and happy retirement, as we always say. Eye care, eyewear, and eye surgery. It's the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Okay, y'all, if you missed it, LSU Run Rules Kentucky. We will set the stage for day 3 at the SEC tournament. We got Muso with some Pluckers trivia coming up, but Matthew Paris will join us when we come back after the top of the hour. We'll kind of get you caught up on Saints OTAs a couple days in. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
All right, y'all, we're heading into Memorial Day weekend. I know a lot of people are going to be hitting the road. Of course, we want to make sure that we stress and understand and remember the reason why we recognize Memorial Day. It's to honor and remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, who died for our freedoms. It is a weekend when a lot of people travel. And so if you are getting on the road, make sure you bring your vehicle to Shaw Bills before you hit the road. If it's time to buy new tires, remember, Shaw Bills will sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices they guarantee. It's part of the Charlie's Dozen. Buy tires at Shaw Bills, see those tires advertised cheaper somewhere else, they'll refund you 125% of the difference. It's part of the Charlie's Dozen over at Shaw Bills. There's right there, the price match guarantee. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. That's the website. And remember, if you need auto service, if you need your oil change, your tires rotated, they do it all at Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Western Conference Finals grab center stage tonight in the NBA when the Timberwolves host the Mavericks in Game 1, 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio. That smothering defense, just one advantage for Minnesota this series, notes ESPN NBA analyst Austin Rivers.
They have size at the rim, they got rim protection, they got good on-the-ball perimeter defense, and they have the number 1 overall defense in the NBA. Dallas is a non-defending team. They're playing better defense right now. Obviously, it's the playoffs, you hope. But if we're talking about a 7-game series of which team I have more confidence in, I have to go to the team that plays on both sides of the ball.
Austin Rivers on First Take. Knicks point guard Jalen Brunson had surgery to repair his broken left hand. Will be evaluated again in 6 to 8 weeks. NHL East Final opener tonight. Rangers-Panthers, 8 Eastern, ESPN. President's Trophy winning Rangers lowest odds among the 4 remaining teams to win the Stanley Cup per ESPN Bet. WNBA. Indiana rookie Caitlin Clark intends to play tonight against Seattle despite a stiff and sore left ankle. 0-4 Fever seeking its first win of the season. Pittsburgh has been selected to host the 2026 NFL Draft.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Taylor Sharp. Muser. And Mr. Toby Tompley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. LSU baseball blanks Kentucky 11-0. They run rule them in 8. Tigers move on to take on South Carolina tomorrow. 4:30 scheduled first pitch. We'll see if the SEC tournament can continue running on schedule. Selfishly, I hope they are not. I would love for that game to just be late and maybe a 6:01 first pitch. Can we agree on that? Would that be agreeable for everybody? A 6:01 first pitch?
I'm in.
Yeah, tomorrow. I would not like to not have half the show go head up on a baseball game. But we'll see how it all plays out. Great opportunity for LSU as South Carolina beat Arkansas. So LSU is going to dodge Hagen Smith. And you got a great shot to play into the weekend. If you win tomorrow, you get Friday off. So, Saints, speaking of days off, well, the Saints didn't have a day off, but the media didn't have availability today. But OTA is going on down in New Orleans. Matthew Paris, Times Pick, good enough to join us here, talk a little Saints. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. First day out there at OTAs on Tuesday. My assumption is everybody was looking at Trevor Penning at right tackle and Taliesin Fuanga at left tackle. Was that the single biggest storyline of day one, or did it reside somewhere else?
No, I think so. I mean, there was a lot that happened, or maybe not a lot that happened with Marshawn Lattimore, but some newsy comments about Marshawn Lattimore. But besides that, as it relates to on the field, the offensive line kind of dominated, the talk of what we were talking about out there and just what we were looking at. They had not only Penning at right tackle and Fuanga at left tackle, but, they had Shane Lemieux at left guard, sprinkled in with some Nick Saldiveri. They kind of kept the backup lines the same. I think they're trying to find their best 5 right now, and how that develops over the next few weeks here will be interesting to see.
Of the notable absences on Tuesday, who was maybe most significant?
You know, even though there was a lot of focus on Lattimore, I think Alvin Kamara, just in terms of how the Saints are trying to improve their run game, trying to get everyone on the same page, you know, maybe you would like him to be there. Jamal Williams wasn't there either, strangely enough. Now, these are veteran guys at their stages of the career. Maybe they feel like they don't have to be there, and that's their right, given that, you know, this is voluntary. But you would like everyone to kind of be there early on, so as you're installing a new offense, you can get everyone on the same page.
I know it's early, and you're not going to be able, we're not going to learn a ton about what the offense is going to look like in OTAs. But since you went to Kamara in the running game, I mean, that was the spot in the offense where they were division. I mean, they ranked in the 20s in the NFL in rushing offense a year ago. What has Clint Kubiak or the coaching staff or the players talked about how they plan to improve the running game this year?
Yeah, I mean, they're really emphasizing kind of speed. Now, you hear that every kind of OTAs, and players and coaches want to play fast. But I do think there is something to that. You know, we talked to John Benton, their offensive coordinator, or their offensive line coach, rather, and he emphasized kind of this illusion of, let me pull up the quote here, sorry, illusion of complexity. And basically what they want to do is they want to make it seem complex when it isn't, and present these teams with different looks and try and make it as simple for players as possible while still keeping the defenses guessing. And, you know, you kind of did see that with how practice was unfolding, you know, that there was a lot of motion stuff, a lot of similar formations, but presenting different looks each time. They really rely on a fullback. We can talk about that if you want, in terms of just, I do think a fullback is going to be an important part of this offense, even with Taysom Hill getting some looks there. So, you know, I do think they want to try and be creative, but they definitely want to overhaul how this run game is presented.
Well, Kyle Juszczyk was a massive part of the offense in San Francisco, so it would stand to reason that you'd have someone in that role. Is it Taysom Hill? Is that guy on the team right now?
Yeah, you know, I thought it was interesting. Dennis Allen actually kind of embraced that comparison. Taysom Hill did line up at fullback a few times. Now, I think it's different with the way that San Francisco uses Juszczyk as a blocker. I don't think Taysom Hill is ever going to fill that role exactly, but I do think you can use some creative stuff with Hill out of a fullback formation. You can motion him out wide. We saw that yesterday. I think, you know, he's been a versatile weapon for them for years, and I think Clint Kubiak can bring a slightly new approach to this as well.
Matthew Paris is our guest on Twitter at Matthew_Paris, Paras, if you want to give him a follow. So you've mentioned Lattimore a handful of times. I haven't asked about him yet, so I'll go ahead and ask about him. Dennis Allen said point blank that Lattimore is going to be on the team this year. Do we believe him?
Yeah, I think so, and I think part of that has to do with how the cornerback market is outside, the Saints and around the NFL. High-quality corners aren't fetching a lot in return on the trade market. You know, L'Jarius Sneed only fetched a third-rounder. Now, part of that was because they had to pay him as well, the Titans did. But I don't think they would get much more than that for Lattimore, and it's hard to see a team at this point willing to actually pay the price. You know, rosters are mostly settled. Maybe if there's an injury, a team would come in and make an offer, or they feel they're a cornerback away. But it's just, you know, looking around right now, it's kind of hard to see who that team would be. And, you know, it was reaching a point here where, you know, mandatory minicamp is next month. Allen felt like he needed to have a conversation with Lattimore to address this trade speculation, and apparently that they reached a comparable solution, and everyone is on the same page, and they expect him to be back. Now, we'll have to see how the year unfolds, but I just don't think the market necessarily developed for Lattimore the way that you would expect for a player of his caliber.
Of the players that were there, among rookies or free agents, did any of the new additions catch your eye for any reason, good or bad?
You know, Spencer Rattler, you could tell he was a rookie. You know, he's a fifth-round pick, but they had to kind of reset the huddle a few times. He was a little shaky in terms of he had an interception, another near interception. I believe he was the quarterback when James Robinson fumbled the ball. You know, he was just it was just kind of striking how sharp Jake Haener looked running with the second team and Spencer Rattler. I think understandably, we're still kind of looking through those rookie woes.
I'm glad you brought up Hainer because the way I was going to phrase the question, Matthew, is are we overlooking Jake Hainer with all of the attention on Spencer Rattler? So are we overlooking Jake Hainer because of all the attention on Spencer Rattler?
Well, I would have said yes going into the day, but after Tuesday's practice, I think he showed that he's still to be reckoned with, that he's going to compete for this backup job, that he was pretty sharp. That he processes things really well. I think his best throw of the day was on a play action pass to, I can't remember the tight end that they threw, but the first, second, and third team, they all run the same plays, and I think Hainer's throw in that sequence was the sharpest of the three quarterbacks that all attempted that pass. So it was pretty impressive. He seemed like he had a control over this offense, and I think that second the backup quarterback race is going to be pretty interesting to watch in training camp.
Of course, throughout OTAs, mini camp, training camp, preseason, the season, you can follow along. He's on Twitter at Matthew_Paras, Paras. You can read stuff there at NOLA.com. We appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
Hey, I appreciate it. Anytime.
I'm in. Be well. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Evermore. As a matter of fact, if you were watching all throughout that segment, I was pretty consistently coughing. Make sure you reach for plenty of Evermore. It is a healthier alternative. I would challenge anybody, if you drink tap water, do your research. Read up on what is in tap water and why today should be the last day you ever drink tap water. And if you want to replace that with a healthier option for your family, a better source of hydration, which also as a plus happens to be a local product, you want Evermore. EVAMOR. You can buy it online at evermore.com, or you can pick it up at great local retailers. It's natural artesian water. So right out of an artesian well, they dig deep, deep into the ground. They pipe into the ground. They pull this water out right into their filtration system into the bottle. It's that simple. Nothing added or subtracted. If you buy other bottled water brands, read the labels. I mean, there's one of the most well-known bottled water brands. Right on the label says minerals added for taste. Like, there's nothing added to this. It is just a natural artesian water, and it's a local product as well. It's Evermore. EVAMOR. Evermore.com. I did find it interesting talking about Jake Hainer, how much there was positive to say about Hainer coming out of the first day of OTAs, because it kind of felt like as they made their way through that day, that Hainer was the guy, as you heard Matthew say, the guy who actually garnered the most positive attention. I found it interesting as well with the Taysom Hill fullback spot, because we talked about Hill several weeks ago and made the comparison to Kyle Juszczyk. Now, Taysom Hill isn't physically the same player that Kyle Juszczyk is, but athletically is more gifted. So could you see situations where Taysom Hill is lined up as a fullback, as an F-back, an H-back, whatever it may be, and run plays to get him the ball out of different positions when you have a traditional tight end on the field as well? Maybe so. And then you're not as predictable by personnel, because when Taysom Hill's out there as an attached tight end, right, hand in the dirt, traditional tight end line, he's not blocking. That's not his role. So in a way, you're predictable by personnel. If you move Taysom Hill into the fullback role, then you're not quite as predictable when he's on the field, which certainly makes him even more dangerous. So we'll certainly talk much more about that as OTAs and minicamp move along. All right, y'all. It's After Further Review. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Pluckers. We will get to some Pluckers trivia in about 15 minutes. Muse, I got to check the rounds. I don't know what we got today on Pluckers trivia. I know Steve sent them to me.
Looking at a theme, maybe? I mean,
that's what I was trying to check.
Didn't have one last week. The last few weeks, it's just been like general knowledge stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah? We got action?
No theme.
Okay.
Got
I feel like you're learning things over there.
Those are
reading
good
these
questions. I'm just seeing if I would know them as I read them aloud or read them to myself and seeing if I would have known the answer. So anyway, okay, it's after further review. I'll ask Musso those questions that elicited an from me just a moment ago. That's coming up in about 15 minutes. When we come back, we've talked about LSU's win over Kentucky. We'll look ahead, a brief look ahead to tomorrow's game against South Carolina that the Gamecocks have finished off Arkansas. As a matter of fact, game 3 of the day is underway there in Hoover. With Vandy, an early 2-1 lead over Tennessee. Top 3, Vandy at the plate. So we'll keep you posted as that one moves along. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Been servicing injured people in Louisiana for more than 30 years. So you know the drill. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. I've told you this number, but it's staggering when you actually think about it. Over those 30 years, Gordon and his team have helped more than 10,000 Louisiana residents recover more than $2 billion in damages. If you need an attorney, need the best, get Gordon and get it done. Like we always love to highlight as well, Gordon Gives, which is the charitable arm of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, a way that Gordon, look, he said it here when he sat in the studio with us. He's been extremely blessed by this community, and he loves to give back, and so he finds so many ways to do it. So you can learn more at GordonGives.com, GordonGives.com. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Go to GetGordon.com. Get Gordon. Get it done.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
He's here. Anyone want a Coors Light?
Oh, shoot, I forgot to play the song.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Well, it should go without saying right now, LSU has punched its ticket to regional play. I certainly think they did that emphatically with their win against Georgia, and now with a win over the SEC co-champ Kentucky in a run rule fashion. LSU is they're definitely in the field, and Jay Johnson, who's been rightly touting LSU's resume all along, did the same again today.
I felt good, as I told all of you, about where we stood coming into this thing, and now there's no question about where we're at and what we're capable of, the quality of the team, the eye test, the performance. It's all there. I mean, we went through a really tough stretch against some of the best teams in the country. That's really all this year's been, was a little bit of a blip at the beginning of SEC play. But they dominated the non-conference schedule. They played great on the back end of the SEC schedule. They're off to a great start in the postseason, and a lot of it has to do with those two guys, setting the tone on the mound.
You look like you ate some sour grapes with that one. I mean, your face you went to bitter beer face right there when he said a little blip at the start of conference play.
Well,
you disagree?
I disagree.
Why do you hate Jay Johnson?
I don't hate Jay Johnson. I think obviously they played a really tough schedule, but they did not play good baseball during that tough schedule.
Yeah, you were 3-12.
They were trying to figure things out. I get it, but you blew multiple games in that stretch. Like, you just did. You've gotten better though.
The extra inning game 2 against Arkansas, certainly game 2 against Florida. You had opportunities to win games. They were not very good. Gage jump hadn't really emerged. Gage jump. You could pinpoint a moment in this season when LSU started to swing the pendulum, and it was Gage jump against Missouri on that Friday night when you run ruled them. And I know you lost the next day, which was disappointing, but you came back and you won that series. It was your first series win, and then you proceeded to win 4 of your next 5. As disappointing as losing the Friday game against Bama was, you had to sweep Ole Miss, you did. And now you've won 5 consecutive games, and you're playing your best baseball. And I know we often talk about when school ends and then it's all baseball, teams tend to focus in. I think that's part of it. I think a bigger part of LSU's success is it's 2 things primarily. Jay has shortened his bench, and he has shortened his bullpen. Like, so much of this season was trying to figure out who are the guys you can count on and in what roles. Like, we don't have that question anymore. Someone asked me earlier today, well, who do you think gets the ball for LSU tomorrow? Well, if you've watched in the last month, it's going to be Dutton or Ackenhausen. I mean, it's what they've done in their game 3s. And I don't know if they're going to start Dutton and let him go an inning and then go to Ackenhausen like they did this past week, or they start Ackenhausen and then at some point he gives the ball and then it's Dutton and Little and it's Ulloa. It's the guys they're going to use. You have a postseason roster, and there's certain guys that don't make the roster, and you just know where they are right now, who they're going to pitch and who they're going to count on. They've settled on an everyday lineup. Like, Alex Milazzo is your catcher. I'll be interested to see what they do in the outfield. We've seen Mac Bingham start the past couple of games in center. And then Kling has been sort of a late inning defensive replacement, which when he was struggling offensively, that's the route they went. If you want Mac Bingham's experience, you're going to concede a bit defensively. And I don't know. I mean, offensively, I wish we had SEC splits for individuals. Like, I don't know what Bingham's batting in SEC play, but that's when he lost his job. Do you have it?
I can get it, yeah.
I was looking at the website. I didn't find it earlier. But if you can find it, please tell me what he's batting in SEC play, because that's when he lost his job. I mean, he was your everyday left fielder.
200.
So he's hitting 200 in
200
SEC
in
play.
SEC. 28 games, 21 starts, 85 at bats, 200.
Batting 200. I mean, there you go. Like, what's Kling in SEC?
189.
I mean, so you got 2 guys.
They're comparable.
They're not good offensively. Neither guy is good offensively. The big difference, Kling is a plus defender. Bingham is a 5th-year player. He just gives you so much more experience. So if you want to roll with that guy, roll with that guy. But I think that's really the difference right now. If you need a left-handed bat, he's going to Jake Brown. I mean, it's just what he did it yesterday. We've seen him do it. So I think maybe the best way to say it, and maybe Todd Walker said it this way. I don't know if he did or if it's just something that's in my head because I heard it. Part of, I think, what plagued this team early in the season is Jay had a lot of guys, both transfers and talented freshmen, that he was trying to get a lot of guys playing time. And in a portal NIL era, you probably feel like you have to. And quite honestly, he was probably a little too liberal with his rotations. And what would happen is if you have I would imagine as a hitter, and this was, I think, T-Dub's opinion, you're terrified of an 0 for 4 day because does it mean if you wear the collar, you're gonna sit the next day? But you're at a point in the season now where Travinsky had a 2 for 21 stretch. Kept running him out there. Now they sat him the last game against Bama, and he needed a mental rest day. But he's going to be in the lineup every day. You just know you're going to be out there every day. You can be a little freer and looser at the plate, not press quite as much. I think that's as much of it as anything with this team. Look, they're obviously not as talented a team as they were a year ago. Nobody's going to argue that, right? And it's not just because of Cruz and Skeens. It's top to bottom. But you've got enough there. I mean, Tommy White is one of the best players in the conference, one of the best players in the country. Jones is at 23 homers. And even defensively, you've played your best ball the last 2 weeks of the season, and you've got 2 bona fide starters, and you've shortened your bullpen to guys that are delivering for you. So I think there's a lot with this team that makes sense of why they've been able to get hot here of late. For what it's worth, I did shoot our buddy David Cloninger a text who covers South Carolina. David does a really good job in baseball. I know we've talked about it before. There's some guys around the league that do a great job. Chris Lee at Vandy Sports, David Cloninger, who covers South Carolina, our buddy Chase Parham with Rebel Grove. I'm leaving guys out, but there's some people that are just exceptional with their baseball coverage, and David's one of those guys. And so I asked him who his opinion was that he thinks Carolina might start tomorrow. And he thinks it's going to be Kimball. So Roman Kimball is he's got a 5.86 ERA. I'm just looking at his stat line right now. Kimball's got a 5.86 ERA. He's thrown 27 2/3 innings, 40 strikeouts, 30 walks is the thing that strikes out. 40 strikeouts, 30. He'll get a swing and miss, but he'll give you a base too. So I don't know how deep they'd expect him to go. He's only thrown 27 2/3 innings on the season. But, I mean, I would trust David. He's as good as they come covering the league. He thinks they give the ball to Kimball tomorrow. You laughed.
No, yeah, I just it makes sense. And in his last outing, he went 1 inning, by the way. I was looking at him earlier. 1 inning in his last outing, I think he gave up 4 runs.
Let's go.
So, I mean, it's not Hagen Smith. Let's say that.
So that's the point, right? It's why if you want LSU to keep advancing, and I do, I mean, I want them to keep playing ball, both selfishly for content on the show and because I want LSU to keep winning games. Dylan Eskew threw yesterday. Eli Jones started today, and they already used Ty Good.
They used Ty Good
today.
And Garrett Gainey, who had started games for them recently. So they used all 3 of those guys today.
So
it really leaves Kimball.
So Kimball would be the guy. I mean, I don't really care what LSU does tomorrow. The way your offense is going, I mean, this is a Carolina staff that's got an ERA of 5, and they got a team batting average of 275. I mean, this was a team like you that was 13-17 in the conference. Like, they're flawed like you're flawed. You dodge a huge bullet not having to face Hagen Smith. I mean, Dave Van Horn decided to hold Hagen Smith to go full rest, and he has that luxury because he knows he's a national seed. He didn't have to bring Hagen Smith out a day early. But if you're LSU and you're trying to stockpile wins, this very much works in your favor.
Sorry, it was a third of an inning for Kimball when he gave up 4 runs.
Stay hot, Cat.
Now he's facing Georgia. They swing it.
How did that go yesterday?
Unless they face Gage Jump, they swing it. Nice 24-game hit streak, Condon.
It is fair to say that the last 2 days, LSU has thrown its aces against bullpen days for Georgia and Kentucky. And that's what happened. So you essentially had your aces go against a midweek approach. So I don't care. You needed the wins. You got the wins. It would have been a very different look against Hagen Smith tomorrow. But they lost. So now you get to face another kind of midweek guy, midweek approach. So go win another one. Are brought to you by Optimize, generatorpeople.com, generatorpeople.com. Man, y'all, storm season is here. We got, unfortunately, a little taste of it last week with those storms on Monday and Thursday. If you've thought about a Generac automatic home standby generator, you've always wanted one at your home. Unfortunately, so many times we don't think about it until the storm hits, our power's out, and we say, I'm never doing this again. I'm getting a generator. And then seasons pass, months pass, we forget about it. Let this be your call. Actually, go to the website, generatorpeople.com, generatorpeople.com. Because right now, generatorpeople.com, you can read about the 10-year warranty. Free 10-year warranty. Limited time right now. A free 10-year warranty on a Generac automatic home standby generator from Optimize. Again, go to generatorpeople.com, generatorpeople.com. Optimize is Louisiana's #1 Generac dealer. You can learn more about it. You fill out the form on the homepage at generatorpeople.com. They'll be in touch with you. Again, it's Optimize. They service the entire 1012 corridor from Lake Charles to Slidell, every point in between, 4 physical locations. The newest right off of Loyola in Kenner, right off of Loyola at the interstate on the way to the airport. So they have you covered no matter where you are on the 1012 corridor in Louisiana. It's Optimized. GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. When we come back, we got a little Pluckers trivia from Muse. We'll see how he does. Otter will be here for a little Otter Locks. Find out what we're betting on tonight. A lot to do still before we bid you adieu for the day. So don't you move. It's AFR presented by Pluckers.
AFR.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
Depends on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
We'll get to Plucker's trivia here in a second. You remember the song Crazy by Gnarls Barkley? Remember that, Muse? You know what song I'm talking about, right? That's the one.
This one, yeah, I know.
Yeah, you know what year that came out?
Oh, 1994.
Nope.
Oh.
Jesus, 1994.
I don't know. I'm just throwing something
Taylor,
out
you want to
there.
take it? Go ahead. 1994.
Why
It's
not?
gotta be newer than that.
Oh my God.
2004.
Closer. 2006. 1994.
Well, I mean, look, he was Gnarls Barkley and then CeeLo
94.
Green. So I'm like, how long did that?
You got it inverted. 94. I was wearing jabots and flannel in 94.
Okay,
Gnarls
and?
Barkley. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't really listen to Gnarls Barkley.
94.
Sorry, I don't know what you're going to do.
But you're old enough to remember when this song was a top
fair.
40 song.
That's fair.
94.
Yeah, I would have been like 7th grade in 06.
That, you should know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what else was significant about
About 1994 or what? Yeah, what else?
I was wearing jabots and flannel.
There we go. I don't know if that was significant,
About
though.
2006, I was in 7th grade in 94.
Hey. Significant things, 2006.
We're running out of time.
Yeah, just go for
That's
it.
when tennis started using ball tracking technology. You know what I mean? You watch a tennis match.
Yes.
Is it in or out? Well, they have the laser beams that tell you if it's in or out, right? They got the technology. 2006, the same year that Justin Timberlake brought Sexy back and Ludacris told you to shake your moneymaker. Pluto was downgraded from a planet back in 2006. Borat was released. Saddam Hussein was executed. Google bought YouTube for $1.6 billion. It's now worth $400 billion. I'd say that one worked out pretty well. 2006 is when we started with the technology, started implementing technology in sports for laser beams tracking balls and objects and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Guess what's going to happen now 18 years later?
Well, what's that?
The NFL is going to start doing it for first downs. Gnarls Barkley Crazy is 18 years old, and only now is the NFL, which makes about $18 billion in annual revenue, is the NFL going to start using this technology? Muse, you know better than to let the song die. You know better.
I know, but
you've been here long enough. You've worked on the show long enough to know better.
Well, I was saving it there, but okay. I mean, next time I can just let the ad play.
All right. You know what? Rick Telander was right about you.
Oh, okay.
Brought to you by First South Farm Credit. We're going to get to trivia here in just a second. FirstSouthLand.com. You want to buy land, FirstSouthLand.com. By the way, the punchline is, hey, NFL, stop being so cheap. You make $18 billion a year. You can put these laser beams in your stadiums, and so you don't have two dorks with two poles with 10 yards of chain link between them trying to decide if you made a line to gain. You got the technology, you make $18 billion a year, you dorks. It's about time. You're only 18 years behind tennis, you losers. Dorks. Go buy land from First South Farm Credit. They'll help you finance. You want to finance land? They help you. They've been doing that since 1916. About the time that we had technology to measure balls in flight, right? Objects in motion. Way back in 1916, they had this, but the NFL is just using it. First South Farm Credit would have been using it. It's hyperbole, Muse. Work with me here. I don't need these weird frowny faces over there from you. I'm trying to do a live read. I'm trying to tie it all together to what we're talking about.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Now you interrupted me.
I did not. You went on a tangent to chastise me.
I'm trying to do a live read for First South Farm Credit. And we still got to get to trivia, and I got to do Otter Locks. We got a lot to do, and you're not letting me do it. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. You want to buy land? First South Farm Credit. Go to FirstSouthLand.com. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Okay, trivia. Hit it.
It's time for Pluckers Trivia. How many will Musso get wrong today? Pluckers Trivia. Every Wednesday night, 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson.
Hey, Taylor, you heard Muse had a date?
I did. Me and him actually talked about this today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cassie asked about it.
I got all the deets.
Okay. Did you give him more deets than you gave us?
No, not really.
Did he tell you who set him up?
He actually left that part out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did. Who was it?
Got it. Muse?
It was Matt.
Oh, this was season 2 of The Bachelor. That's what I wanted to call it earlier.
Okay. Here we go. Muse, number 1.
Yeah.
See? I give, Taylor, I give, and you know what I get back? Grief. That's what I get back. I give, and I give, and I give. I'm trying to get him to marry the first Mrs. Matthew Vincenzo Musso.
Last name's Vincenzo?
It's not.
Middle name, Matthew Vincenzo
Also
Musso.
not my middle name. Although
that's your middle name.
That'd be pretty good, actually. That'd be sick.
I heard you say Mordecai the other day. I was upset when I found out it wasn't his real one. I like that one.
Cradling,
I hate it here. Go ahead.
D-twig, and elevator shot are all terms heard in what sports lexicon?
Cradling, elevator shot, and what was the other one?
D-twig.
D-twig.
D-E-T-W-I-G. Maybe it's D-twig.
Is it rugby?
Taylor. Wait, did you answer or did you answer? Y'all sounded
I
stunningly
answered.
similar.
Is it rugby?
Wow, I thought that was you who said it.
Eh.
Stunning. No, it is not rugby. It's lacrosse.
Oh.
I'm sure Taylor knew that, though.
I don't think he did.
Taylor knows way more than you do.
I
didn't
Taylor
know
knew
lacrosse.
See?
I was going to say it.
No,
See?
you didn't.
Secrets of the Mogwai serves as an origin story, an animated prequel to what 1984 movie?
I don't know.
You don't know what a Mogwai is?
No.
Taylor, what's the answer?
Is the 1984 movie also animated or no?
No.
Still don't know.
Golly.
I don't even have a guess.
Gremlins would be the
Oh,
Mogwai is the little furry guy, and when he gets wet, then he spawns the gremlin.
Feed him after dark and all that. Yeah, yeah.
Before they get wet, all this.
Yeah.
Been
a
when
minute.
the gremlins get wet. That's it. When the gremlins get wet, then they spawn more gremlins. That's what it is. All right, last one, so we can just throw up the bagel. Muse, what word in the NATO phonetic alphabet represents the letter Y? You should know this one.
Wait. I don't have time to go through them all. You're gonna say that, and I'm gonna be mad because
Show ends at 6.
Yeah, I know it does, and I can't wait. I don't know, man. Just give it to me.
Yankee.
Yep.
Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, had awful weather in the area last week. If you had roof damage, think you might, we'd love to give you that free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Told you for 3.5 years, do business with someone you know, and that hasn't changed. What has that? We just started a new company, Parish Construction and Roofing. It's still Richard Tilley and Ryan Terrio and me and Joe Morales, all our same crews. We've added some great new members to the team as well, like Trent Davis. Do business with someone you know. You want me to help facilitate? I can. A lot of you, I mean, I've been blown away, overwhelmed, and so grateful to the numbers of you who have reached out for us to give you a free, no-obligation roofing inspection of your home. Some of you are both residential and commercial contractors and builders and have asked us to help with new construction or some of your commercial projects. If you're property managers, I'm just so grateful to everybody that's reached out. Licensed, we got our fortified roofing license yesterday as well. So fired up. I mean, we still even have the same number, 364-1007, 364-1007, 364-1007, or go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Right there on the homepage, you'll see the form, fill it out, we'll be in touch, lickety-split. It's Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. pluckers.com. Okay, y'all, it's after further review, cruising along here in this Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers Trivia, 7:30 Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. Get on by tonight and every Wednesday over at Pluckers. We'll knock out our final break of the show, come back, a little Otter Locks, find out what we're betting on tonight. Stay here, one segment to go on AFR.
AFR.
Man, if you are thinking of hosting an event coming up, I want you to remember the Watermark and the Renaissance. Two amazing hotel properties, Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Tell you every day about my friend Allison Crump over at the Renaissance. She always says, hey, we're in the business of saying yes. And she's the events manager over there. So if you want to host an event at the Renaissance, you're going to talk to Allison. She's going to explain the space that they have. And no matter what size event you have, maybe you got an awards banquet for 100 people. Maybe you got a fundraiser for up to 500 people. Maybe you've got a work retreat for your executive team and it's a dozen people. No matter what it is, they can accommodate you at the Renaissance Hotel. So when you're thinking about your next event, call my friend Allison over at the Renaissance Hotel, and she's going to help get you lined up. It's so great. The Renaissance right there on Bluebonnet across from the mall and in Perkins Row. The Watermarks in downtown Baton Rouge, two amazing hotel properties, one ownership group, Watermark and the Renaissance. Make sure you check them out. Man, the Watermark's gorgeous. Just stop on by and tell them Matt sent you in.
Get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
I've been doing business with Luber for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
Otter, how are you?
A bit better. We did, but thank God for the Mississippi State kid who hit the first pitch of his at-bat with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth for a 2-run shot to hit our parlay.
That'd be it. Get a little ding there.
Yep. We'll get that out the way.
It was not a great night, but that's okay. We're back on the horse.
We're mono ding ding there, whatever. Anyway, so single ding ding. But we want to get some more time. Hey, going back to cowbell though.
Okay.
I'm at Los Reyes and I got the sun right now. It's a beautiful picture of it, by the way. So anyway.
Tell him thank you. I appreciate it greatly.
Hey, so State they stayed their ace last night. I mean, both the guys kind of middle relievers for Ole Miss and Mississippi State. It was really a fun game last night, but they got their ace going tonight. They're playing good. They're as good as A&M, if not better. And the kid who did hit the home run, he's been out for the last couple of weeks, and they suffer because of it. He's back. He didn't miss that ball last night. Love Mississippi State coming back at a really nice price tonight.
On the money line?
Uh-huh.
Okay. We're looking at plus 145.
Yes.
All right. We're going with cowbell. Let's go.
All right. So not only did we not cover with Boston, but we could have really been in good shape if the Pacers took care of one of the wins with our Boston in 6 series bet. But that didn't happen as well. It's a double turd burger. So anyway, we go to tonight with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay. We're going on. We like them minus the point and in the series to win in 6 games because that's paying more than 7. So T-Wolves, we're going with the best defensive team in all of the NBA. Should be a good series. Dallas has more than just Kyrie and Luka. I mean, they got a little supporting cast now, but not like Minnesota. Both teams coming off emotional clinching victories to move on, so no real situational spot here. But they do have home. Minnesota, I like them in Game 1 tonight and to win in 6. What are they in to win 4-2?
Be real honest with you, Otter, I'm having trouble finding this in the DraftKings app.
Good job. So anyway,
I know.
One more.
I've looked all everywhere. I mean, I've got the series winners. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll keep looking. Go ahead.
Okay, and then hockey. We're going to go with a little hockey baseball parlay. Panthers puck line, Dodgers run line.
All right, Panthers, Dodgers. All right, so the Panthers on the puck line is coming back at plus 225.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And the Dodgers run line is minus 135, and that's in a parlay. That should pay pretty good. Take a little spike on that one. Don't go crazy on that one.
All right. Plus 444.
There we go.
Let's do it, man.
We're alone, baby.
We're due, Otter. We're due. Where are you tomorrow?
We are at the original walk-on. Oh, that's not good. 3-run homer for Tennessee. Cuts the lead to 6-4. Okay. All right.
Guy. He's always
Can we put all 3 TVs on my picture, please, and get these games off?
That's so good. All right, so we've got, again, Mississippi State on the money line, the Minnesota Timberwolves laying the 4.5, and a money line parlay with the Florida Panthers and the LA Dodgers. All right, so original walk-ons tomorrow, and then there is Otter. Have a great night. May the margaritas flow.
Tomorrow, yes, but Friday I'm taking off. So taking off. The Hanny will be pulmonary. Big guest host with Hanny at the Rufino's on Friday for the second hour.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right, Otter. Thank you. Have a great night.
All right, see you. Good luck.
All right, we'll see you. Brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Still graduation season. Got more graduations this weekend for high school. If you're buying that gift for the graduate or maybe LSU graduation this past weekend, if you haven't gotten the gift for the graduate in your life yet, Lee Michaels has amazing options. You go to the website, lmfj.com, Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Scroll down. You'll see right there the graduation gift guide. Some amazing options from pendants and necklaces, rings, watches, writing instruments. You can see it all there. Perfect gift for that graduate in your life at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Remember, 9 locations in all, 2 in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, y'all, been a really good show. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand, favorite podcast app, just search After Further Review. Of course, you can go to the YouTube channel as well, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. We recapped LSU, Kentucky. Thanks to David Fleshman, attorney David Fleshman, who's here to give us some legal perspective on the Jaden Rashada situation. Rick Telander was in studio with us. It was such a fun conversation. One of the most decorated sports writers ever. Famously wrote the Mike Ditka, Ricky Williams piece with Dan Le Batard when Ricky wore the dress. He was in studio with us. Matthew Parrish talked some Saints OTAs with us. Just heard Otter as well. So we're back tomorrow. If everything's on time, we're up against LSU in South Carolina. So hope for some long baseball games in the first 2 tomorrow. 6:01 start time is what we're hoping for tomorrow for LSU and the Gamecocks. Muse, Taylor, thanks. See you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Okay, as we get on down the road, I remind you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. With more than 30 offices across 12 different states. That's right, they've added another state from sea to shining sea, from Florida to California and points in between. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products that you use to weigh and measure. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Love telling you about them every day because they're a local company. They're a Louisiana-based company that opened their doors 76 years ago, and they've continued to grow and expand in the way I just told you. But they've maintained their local ownership. They've maintained their local presence even as they've grown. They service dozens of different industries, from the petrochemical industries, agriculture, food and beverage. If you have precision measurement equipment that needs to be calibrated, they can do it. They'll do it better than anyone. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Check them out on LinkedIn or online at Michelli.com. Michelli.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is.